Hello everyone, it is grand final time here at the Supernova Malta CSGO event, the first ever in Malta that's been an absolute pleasure to be a part of, and it's time for us to get into not only just the grand finals, but the third place decider, and something a little bit special as well, with the guys on the left-hand side of me, Maniac and Mitch joining me one more time to kind of take this one away. And in a way, I'm a little bit sad that this is going to be the end of our little Malta trip, our Malta experience here. We've had a lot of fun.
We had a good time, right? I don't really want it to end, right?
No.
Counter-Strike was good, city's beautiful. Maybe we could just stay here for a little bit more.
That would be nice.
See if we can arrange it right on the way back.
We'll just book a couple of extra days, we'll be fine.
I had enough delays on the way over here, so maybe that could happen on the nice part, you know, the nice sun instead of the -2 degrees in Germany with snow when I brought shorts.
Very
Not a good decision.
Very prepared.
Absolutely.
But this third place decider, right, and how we kind of got to where we are now, it was certainly a bit of back and forth. We expected better things out of kind of the both teams that went up against them, but both NRG and Liquid proved too strong.
Well, I think we ended up in a scenario where the favorite actually stands his ground and do what they have to do. That's not always the case in Counter-Strike. Sometimes, you know, pressure get to them and they drop a map here and there, but I think both NRG and Liquid had dominant performances in their semi-final. Didn't really leave any doubt. I mean, you could say they fluked their way to the grand final in any case.
Sure.
So in that way, it's a logical third place game, I would say, considering the results in the playoff.
Yeah, I think it's something we came into it saying right from the first day. We said Liquid Energy final, Big and HR third and fourth. From the start, I kind of expected Big to be that third place. Looking at the kind of form of both teams, you'd expect that, though. HR have been having a lot of difficulty recently. Just in the last couple of games, they weren't really looking on form. I think you compare that to Big and how much of a fight they put up against Liquid. I'm feeling good about the German train, or the German-British hybrid.
And I think that's one thing to note, right, is that actually that first game we saw from Big surprised all of us. We very much were believing, okay, look, they're not going to have too much of a chance in here. And they were the ones that actually threw away the chance to win there. And I think that was the most amazing factor. But sadly, when it came to Overpass, which ended up being Big's pick, that was where Liquid just went, hold up. We're not letting you have that again. That's not happening. We're going to bring the pain.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I agree with Mitch. I think Big had a better performance if you'd compare, you know, Hellraisers and Big's semi-final. It definitely looked like they had a shot at winning Inferno. I personally think that the fact that they lost Inferno kind of destroyed any chances they had in the series overall, because even though they were going on to their map after that, it's just when you give Liquid, you know, the confidence, the rhythm, they get rolling. It doesn't matter that's your map. Individually speaking, just the principles they have, they just are a better team. So in that sense, I think it was a missed opportunity for Big, and I agree. Considering the two semifinals, Big are coming in this third place as favorites.
Yeah, and I think one thing, right, is that for Big, they are the team, they've had their time together, they should be the more well-rounded here, where Hellraisers, they've gone through changes, we've got Hobbit now in, and let's be honest, across game after game, Hobbit has an individual kind of, he's sort of slotted himself in a little bit better, but they're still a new team, right? They're still, this is a lot for them to kind of handle, and this is almost the warm-up stage for them.
I definitely agree with that. The other thing as well, in terms of them warming up, you look at the top players of this tournament so far. Tabson, 1.33 rating. That's not really that much of a surprise. We expected.
Definitely.
Next up is Walk6. So you've got two of the top players being on either one of these teams, followed up by Nex, another big player. And then it's a big gap between anybody else on Hellraisers and Walk6. I think that's a little bit worrying, considering we've seen Big at times step it up. But the only saving grace there, first map against Liquid, it was that kind of crazy performance, Nex and Tabson doing their jobs, but in the second they kind of went back into their previous formula of Tabson being the carry and everybody else kind of doing okay. And if they've kind of cooled down a little bit coming into this matchup, it could be a little bit worrying if Hellraisers have taken the time to really reflect, because I think that they have the most to gain from this, really, winning this matchup.
Well, I think you have to consider that even though the third place is very important, right? There is a little bit less pressure going into that game. And probably for Hobbit, it's going to, you know, maybe let him lose a little bit more. You know, it's a game, it's important, right? But it's not like you're in the grand final. So in that sense, I'm waiting to see if Hobbit, he has a change in performance. Maybe he plays more aggressively or more freely. It's hard to know. And also, it's another good occasion for Hellraisers to get just time playing with Hobbit in another official, in the grand scene or stage. So I'm really looking forward to see what Hobbit can bring.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the factors, right? It's what we look at Hobbit, right? Back in his glory days on Gambit of being this kind of almost star player, right? He was there always at the top. It was him, it was Mo, and it was a bit of a Dren thrown in there as well. And then more recently, kind of slowed down a little bit. But I think this Hellraiser lineup, if they give him a little bit of a chance, give him the right positions, he can start to have a time to shine again, right?
I think that the most important part about Hobbit, and that is just my hypothesis, I cannot say that for certain, but he suffered a lot from Zeus leaving Gambit. That's quite clear to me. He had monster performances when Zeus was on board Gambit, holding the captainship. Now, if he can find that with Angel again, if Angel can be his Zeus of the past when they won the Krakow Major, a little bit of nostalgia here and there. But I think Hobbit can rise back to his level. And if he has someone he can trust on deciding the direction that the team is going to take in game, in that sense, I'm hoping, I'm kind of foreseeing the older version of Hobbit where he was a monster.
Yeah, that's certainly what we want to see when we come into this. Now, for this little big lineup here we have, they are the up and downers, right? They come into this and they drop the first map to Tyloo. We're all shocked and surprised by it. Then they start coming back with full force. They manage to make it work. They then beat Tyloo in probably the most convincing fashion of a LAN game I've seen in quite some time. And then we get to the stage where actually we're looking at them potentially taking a map or potential pushing Liquid further than we thought they ever could have. They have the capability, but that scary factor that comes into me is Smooya, you can see on your screens at the moment, he literally had a pretty awful game going into Overpass, and it was as if he was on full tilt. Like, he played so well on the first game. He was one of the main reasons they were able to do so much damage. And then we come into the second game, and because of that close loss, because of however maybe it affected him or just how he was feeling, he wasn't able to get it done.
I think, to be honest, we said going into Inferno, right, it was probably going to be Liquid winning it. And I think the thing that's so soul-crushing is that Big would have known that. They'd know that, we've got a chance to win this. It was the fact that they basically had it in their grasp and then Liquid pulled it back. That's the real demotivating factor. And for a player that's so emotional like Smooya, that's really going to affect you, right, going into the next map. And we saw everybody drop off except for Tabson, I mean, it's a given.
Being Tabson.
Being Tabson, right? Like, when we move into this, you take a look at how they came into it at the start. You mentioned there, James, about the Tyloo game, the first map, the best of one they played, and we really didn't expect to see Tyloo winning that. But Big were able to reset. They were able to come back the next day, and they ended up taking down Tyloo, like you said, the most convincing fashion we've seen. 3 maps. So 3 maps could have been played. They got 3 rounds across the best of 3.
Yeah, I had never seen this. I had never seen this, I have to say. As a player or as an analyst, that was the first time I saw 16-1, 16-2, I think that was.
And as well, it was something that we hyped up so much. We were like, this was a 16-14 game the last time we saw these guys play. This is going to be huge. It's going to be the closest match of the... Oh, it's over. Like, it was... So it's not really... the one thing I would say for Big, that scenario kind of paints a picture here where, look... Sure, the first map yesterday, they were looking good. Then they fell off a little bit. They got a little bit emotional, maybe. They will have reset at this point. We've seen that from them before. The next day, they can come back and they can be that dominant team. And so coming into this, I think that you can't rely on a weakened Big turning up today.
No, definitely. I was just thinking about this Smooya situation, and to be honest, I think it concerns many, many other players, right? But I think it's important for people to realize being a CSGO player is not only about clicking on your keyboard and your mouse and being really good at it. Because I think it's not really in the question of Smooya being a good player. Obviously, he's a very capable operator. He can have a lot of impact. But the way you handle your emotions and your mental attitude and kind of strength, it's a subject on its own. It's like if you compartmentalize what you need to be a good player, that's one big subject, and that's why we've seen teams like Astralis, for example, hire people, professionals to help you in that regard. So sure, growing as a player is also growing as a person, and it might be the next big step for Smooya to not be consistent in terms of a CS player, but be consistent in terms of an athlete, and also the mental that comes with it.
And that's the thing, we're now moving away, right, from just being guys that play games and we might have a coach or a manager behind us or we're just rocking it. This is actually, no, we're more than gamers now. We need the extra boost of help because you're on the road the whole time. You're taking multiple events back to back. You get, for some reason, horrible fans that scream and shout abuse at you across Twitter, right? If this stuff starts to get into your head, look at professional football, for example. They all have to kind of stay out of that. They need to keep their heads strong. And this is a new thing that players are starting to learn, especially some of the younger guys is where it really starts to come in. Now, one thing I want to say as well is when we come to looking at just Big overall, this is probably the best Big in frag and power that we've seen in recent times, just because of we've got Next back. We kept saying it, we're like, is it just going to be 1 game? Is it just going to be 2 games? No, he has round after round after round just started to deliver. And Chad made the comment about, he's able to wear his hat again. I don't care if it's the hat, I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I want to just say Next playing like this more often, because this gives Big a legit chance. You saw the win percentage of their map rates there, and a lot of their maps, considering they're playing against a lot of top-tier opponents, it's not like, okay, they've not a huge 78% win ratio, but they've got a solid map pool that on any given day, if they're prepared enough, they can take down even some of the best teams in the world.
I mean, sure, you mentioned Nex. Yes, he deserves to be commended and honored for his performance in this tournament. It is true that in his career, he has been a little bit hit and miss. Yeah. And when you're GOP B, when you're big in general, and you're trying to plan, where are we, what is our level, who can we take on, and you have this factor that can just be here or be completely absent, that's really hard. So yes, having Nex show up consistently in the tournament is something extremely good for Big, and you have to hope for them that this becomes a thing for like ever and ever. Because sure, it would give them it would put them in a new dimension in terms of firepower.
It was one of the main things that changed between the first time we saw Big taking on Tyloo and the second time, and look at how staggeringly different those results were. When you have all those big players stepping it up, or even just two of them, it can be a daunting force to play against.
You can see just in the head-to-heads, right, there's a lot of back and forth here, and a lot of this is quite recently as well. You can ignore the 2 games back in June because that's almost too far away, but September, Big took it at the Major. We go on to ESL Pro League. They trade out maps. Dust 2 goes to Big, and actually HR, one of the teams that also early adopters of Dust 2. So that's quite an interesting one. And then we've got Cash in there as well, which went to HR. So middle ground, bit of back and forth. There's certainly either way this one can go.
Clearly, the results are a little bit of a mixed bag, considering Hellraisers won a few maps online, and Big won the only opposition they've had, at the Major. That was a 69 on train. But just based on the result, it's quite clear that it's not a done deal. I think there's chances for Hellraisers to take that. And yeah, I mean, I'm interested to see how the veto goes. I think this is going to give us a good, indication of who won it, who's going to be on more comfortable ground. And in that regard, considering Hobbit is quite new to Hellraisers, and Big is a very, a team that has, in general, very good preparation, I'm expecting Big to have the advantage in the veto.
Now, looking at Hellraisers, right, they ultimately, when you look at it, should be the ones that would be out fragging in this sense, right? That's where we look at. But Issa's a man that we've seen a few plays from him. He's been there, but he's not been as impactful as we kept talking about. I remember literally going back just a few months ago, when Hellraisers turn up at an event, you'd be like, cool, Woxic, Issa, let's see what they can do.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see how much damage they can put on the board. Yes, everyone has a bad game, but if Hellraisers want to take this third place decider, I need to see a little bit more from him.
We've also seen in the last 2 series from Hellraisers, it's not just been the likes of Issa not stepping up, it's been some players really suffering to get on the scoreboard, right? No point naming names, I think we all know what happened, but I gotta say, one thing that's been kind of stuck in my mind thinking about this is Inferno, right? That performance from Big yesterday against Liquid was such a convincing one, right? Up until the last couple of rounds. I think that Hellraisers will rely on Inferno against Big outside of that result. It's a little bit worrying to me now then thinking about this, because I'm not too sure what they're going to go for in picks, because it's a massive risk. Looking at their form, I mean, if Hellraisers think they can do it better than Liquid on Inferno, maybe we'll see it come out, but I don't know. It's worrying. It's uncertainty for me at the moment for Hellraisers, just based on their up and down performance yesterday, and then looking at Big performance so well on the map that I think Hellraisers will rely on.
I think the way Hellraisers lost against Energy kind of caught us off guard, because considering the path they took going into the semi-final, we thought, okay, I was the one saying, they have a shot taking a map off of Energy. Sure, they've been playing great CS. I mean, Angel was leading the charge, being very aggressive, having all these impactful rounds. And then Energy just completely made a statement out of that game saying, you know what, we don't play the same Counter-Strike. You do not belong to my category. I'm just going to 16-4, 16-9 you out of the way. And it leaves me a little bit confused, because I feel like I've seen Hellraisers pre-semi-final and then semi-final. Hopefully they show the better CS out of the two, and if that's the case, who knows?
Let's sit on that Hellraisers NRG game just a little bit longer, because that was one of the things that we were all very much agreeing with, right? There was no doubt in our minds that NRG should be the ones to take it, but Hellraisers actually had a legit chance there, more so to actually put a challenge up to them. And okay, yes, Hobbit's a new player in there, but Angel and the rest of the guys, they've been together, they know how this thing plays out, they understand what they need to do. They should have been able to at least do a little bit more than that, and that, again, is the concerning factor when it comes to this lineup.
Yeah, well, if you compare Hellraisers and Energy, to me, 2 big factors come out. The first one is, in terms of distribution of frags in Energy, there's more players that will show up quite consistently. We talk about Cirque, we talk about Ethan. They have many players who step up quite consistently, in the sense that it's not that likely that the hit and miss is going to happen because of everyone's going to put it in. And the other factor to me is that when you go into a game, you usually have a plan. You have an idea on what's going to happen. And then I measure team strength in how do they react when it doesn't go well. And in that sense, I think Energy were a step ahead. And Hellraisers, once it fell a little bit down, they didn't really know what to do.
Well, we're going to get the veto up and ready. And obviously for Big, I think the first one is get rid of Mirage. I don't want to play it. We should see a kind of standard play come in there.
Yeah.
And then it's where Hellraisers will make their decision on how they want to play it. Do they want to play it smart and take their insta-ban, or do they want to try and play into Big's hands?
The problem here for Hellraisers is if they don't ban Nuke, I think Big is going to jump on it any day of the week. So, yeah, there we go. That's the sensible choice, I guess you would say, because Big is a team that can definitely play Nuke. Hellraisers haven't played it, so until there, pretty much, you know, it's supposed to happen. But now I'm just looking forward to see what's going to happen in the pick, because I'm not sure.
I think like they've got Cash or Inferno really on the Hellraiser side up for grabs, and due to Big playing so well on Inferno, I think that'd be a risky pick. With Train coming out first, that's a strong map for Big, and Cash though will be a little bit of a risk, right? That kind of 50-50 factor comes into it. It's a map we're seeing drop off in terms of what top teams are playing right now.
I have to be honest, I'm really liking this Train pick from Bing. As we see the Inferno come from the Hellraisers, which is more of a comfortable choice in that sense. It's not really a punish in regards to Big. But to talk about this Train pick from Big, it is very interesting because they could also gonna have gone for Dust 2. I'm so sorry for that. But you know, Dust 2 is a little bit more loose map in the sense that you don't need that tactical backbone to accomplish great results on it. Train, if you don't have the tactics, if you don't have the procedures, that can get messy real quick. So I think that's the logic that Big is bringing into that Train pick.
Then looking at the Inferno one for Hellraisers, I'm not really sure where we're going with that. I mean, just looking at how dominant Big were there yesterday, I would have taken that out straight away and went for Cash. Hoped you could outmatch them on individual skill, and that maybe the likes of Nex and Smooya wouldn't turn up, and then you can have a bit of a walkover once you deal with Tabson. But the problem for me now is if Big still have the same form as yesterday, well, look, actually, let's look at it a little bit differently, a little bit more positively for Hellraisers. It's their map pick. Perhaps they've looked at that game yesterday. Perhaps they've seen, well, look, this is what they did to beat Liquid. These were the pivotal plays that they made. Let's get in there and not allow them to do that to us. Perhaps. It's a comfortable map for Hellraisers either way, so maybe they think they're better there than Liquid are.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think we should consider where Hellraisers is in terms of practice and how integrated Hobbit is, because just looking at the numbers, I thought Cash Pick was going to come because it's quite a good map for Hellraisers. The numbers of Big are not so impressive, but hey, Hobbit has been here for 3 weeks. Maybe they've had time to prepare 4 or 5 maps. It's not always the case that you come to an event with 6 maps ready. That's the dream scenario, of course. But when you have a new player coming in, you do as you can.
It's even harder when you got a new player coming in, right? But it might be even harder for Hellraisers here as you look at Train, and it's not a pretty sight whatsoever. Okay, again, a lot of these games are the online side of things for Big, playing off an ESL Pro League, but a similar case for Hellraisers at the same time, right? So we look down this, and it's all losses to Avangard, Ents, Na'Vi, Astralis, Imperial. It doesn't matter who they're facing, they've not won recently. And then we come to Big, and at least you've taken down G2, which, okay, was a G2 that's now very much changed, a Heroic and a Fnatic, but you got manhandled by NRG, and Mousesports took you down in it as well. So certainly Big being favored here, but I don't think this is as cut and dry as the stats make it look.
Yeah, you might be right. It's tough to say. If I just look at the stat right now, I'm saying, okay, this is Big. Every day of the week, no issues. But maybe Hellraisers have something in store that we didn't see coming. Maybe they've actually prepared Train because they knew that was one of their weakest map. It's something that you can do going to an event, is looking at your own statistics and say, okay, our opponents are probably going to go for this. They think we were bad on that map. So maybe they prepared. Hopefully for Hellraisers, that's the case.
But when you think of Hobbit, right, what 2 maps come into mind? Definitely Train and a bit of Inferno in there as well from star moments for him. So maybe it can be something that comes into the fray, maybe a little surprise action out there. And that is actually true to Hellraisers, right? They have got that surprise factor in a way, because it's certainly a changed dynamic now.
It is. I was just having flashbacks of Hobbit in the big pit of Inferno. That was one of the positions. No, but it is true. It's one of the positions I would look at him play and think, he had, when he was in Gambit, he had almost everything, in the sense that he had the aim. I think the decision was on point. He was very, when he decided to take a duel, he would take it, then play very safe. He wasn't in some in-between. So Hobbit, in that sense, was a model or a reference, and I hope he can go back to that level, because Hellraisers will need that. It's probably not going to happen today, probably not in a week, but on the long term, they will need Gambit Hobbit in Hellraisers.
I think we've been very focused as well on the picks. The last map being Overpass, I think it's worth noting as just a complete middle ground for both of these teams. They're both quite comfortable there. And I think that if we can see a 3-mapper coming out, that could be interesting. But realistically, with how Big performed on Inferno yesterday, we need to see, like I said, Hellraisers figuring that out straight away, because starting it out here, this could be a 2-0 for Big if they have the same finesse as yesterday.
Oh, you're starting to get onto the prediction mindset already.
We're getting ready for this. We know you're going to come. You're going to hit us with this.
I think we need to higher the stakes, right? Last time we were talking, who do you think will win? Who do you think will win?
Yeah.
But all the time, in our pre-match prediction, we tend to get it the wrong way around, right? Like,
is it? I thought
if
I
we
was
say
doing well in predictions.
No, we got well in predictions. What I mean is in terms of maps, right? We would say this will be close, this will be one-sided, and then the first one's one-sided, the second one's close,
I hear you.
or something like that. So what I think we should go for score predictions today, just to make things a little bit more risky.
Why?
Maybe it's
Why?
now
Just to make it more risky.
Thanks, Mitch. Just throw us
Then we
under the
can-
bus some more.
Why would we go into rounds? Can we not just say it's going to be close or not?
No, I
think
mean
that's
like
a fair assessment.
not in rounds. No,
Yeah,
just maps,
okay.
like 2-1, 2-0.
I hear you.
I don't
Mitch
know.
is trying to make your life more
We
difficult.
don't need to touch rounds. I
I
think
have to
that's
do this.
picking rounds. You might as well roll a dice, right?
Yeah, exactly. Is it our time? And do we have to make predictions? No. Can we talk a bit more about
we
Counter
can
Strike?
talk time.
Yeah, we can
talk
definitely-
all day.
It's
if
just,
you
Mitch,
want.
it's just Mitch who's desperate to throw us down this prediction route at the moment.
I've been to the casino today. All right, I'm feeling the gambling.
Oh, God.
in my
How early
veins.
did you wake up?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
I say I just about made it to the studio in time. I finished gym. I was like, oh, okay, let's get going.
I just skipped
You've
the
just been
gym in
gambling a
case you
little.
can't see.
Oh, you look beautiful, mate. Don't
Oh,
worry.
thank you. You're too kind,
10
James.
out of 10 would. And I
Oh,
went for the
God.
rest of that sentence.
At least it's not Chad saying it on the couch with his mustache.
What was that? Sorry.
No, you weren't here for this.
No, if we circle back to Counter-Strike for a minute, I was just thinking about this overpass, and I think you're right. It is actually, like, numbers suggest it's a middle ground. I think the numbers might be a little bit deceiving in the sense that these stats are based on the last 3 months of Hellraisers, right? That lineup change happened 20
yes, of
days
course.
ago.
So they were
Now,
also
I'm not
really
saying
keen
the
to
point
pick
is
it.
not valid.
Yes.
The point is valid. But maybe in Big's case, that's that lineup who has 65% win rate over the past 3 months.
Yeah.
Hellraisers with Hobbit, they haven't really shown us so far. The only time they played, they got obliterated by energy.
Yeah, and we've seen before, right? Like we looked at Gambit and how poorly their rotations were affected on a map like Dust just by having that lack of cohesion with the likes of Bonded coming in the last second. Now we're talking about that kind of same situation on Overpass. I think a map that will punish you more on the rotation front, with the exception of Mid being there on Dust. So if that's kind of staggered the rotations a little bit, I mean, Overpass a map where you're going to probably see Big throwing a lot of fakes towards Hellraisers. That's a very valid point. That if we go there, we could see Hellraisers putting up a worse performance than usual with their old lineup.
The thing is, Overpass really is a tactical map. Would it be T side or CT side? You need rotations, you need to take information, you need to have different rhythm, and it truly is a test to how deep is your playbook. So I hope Hellraiser's playbook is deep as can be, but I'm not sure.
Well, Mitch, you're going to be very happy. You know what time it is. It's prediction time, my friend. It's the time to understand how this might go and how we think it's going to go. And I'm just going to kick things off with I believe this will be a 2-0 to Big, just because of what we saw from them yesterday. We're looking strong. This time I'm not doing it just because Smoothie is British and I want to rip my flag. This is because a legitimate thought process in it. Maniac, where are you going?
I second that. I think it's going to be a 2-0 Big, just because the performance they've had against Liquid individually, I would give them an edge. Tactically, I would definitely give them an edge.
Without a doubt.
So I don't really see any factors that would make me say this is Hellraiser's game. So I'm going Big 2-0.
I don't believe it'll be Hellraiser's game, and I was going to say 2-0, but now I'm thinking, while you guys are taking my
Just to
predictions,
spite me.
just to spite you, I'm going to go 2-1, just for one simple reason, right?
Okay.
That pick from Hellraisers of Inferno doesn't make sense to me, which means I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt and say they know more than me.
There's some logic in that. I can get
So
down with that.
I
can
think that
respect
they've got something figured out on Big
Yeah.
now. Again, it comes back to what we've said a couple of times over the last couple of days. It's how deep is your playbook, right? If they figure out, well, this is what worked against Liquid, and they dismantle it, Big are probably going to have something to come back. You've got a mind like Gobby there. He's not coming in with just, this is plan A. We don't need a second plan. He's got plans down to Z. So I think that it could be difficult, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they've got Inferno figured out. It's 2-1 to Big.
All right, so it's Big from all of us here. You think it's 2-1, me and Maniac think it's 2-0. Thank you very much, guys. And also, you guys at home, remember, you can win yourself a Supernova CSGO Malta shirt. We got to just type ! giveaway in the chat. You can see it on your screens there. Look at that, all fiery and beautiful. Give yourself a chance to win. It's going to be signed by all the teams and talent here. And make sure you drop a follow on that Twitch channel as well. But it's time to get into the game. It's time for us to see how this third place decider is going to go. It's Big versus Hellraisers, and it's going to be back with Sponge and Sadakist.
We get ready to start things off to decide who gets the bronze. Kind of like my hair was very bronze when we started off. They can have all of it. It's Hellraisers and it's big.
It's not as good as silver or gold, but it's still a medal.
Yeah.
I never really
Unless
got
you're
many
Sweden,
medals.
in which case you just throw it over the glass like Rasmus Dahl in the entitled little... sorry. Carry on.
Is that a racing reference?
No, that's a hockey reference. It was a little bit offensive, and yet people defended him for it. I
Like
can
he threw his
understand.
medal away.
Yeah, because they didn't want bronze. They were there only for gold, right? Like they had the intention to win.
But you know what I would play for?
Which I understand the sentiment. I do. I just don't like the sportsman aspect of it.
What I would play for more than a medal is money. So that's what's on the line here. And if you want to buy yourself some pretty things or maybe have an extra day in Malta, the cash money will help you in that circumstance. And the cool thing about best of threes, if you want me to throw one out there,
Yeah, do it. I like it.
is they tend to be looser. So we're going to get a little bit more action.
I mentioned this yesterday, right? Like being in this third place decider at an event for Hellraisers might actually be a good thing.
Sure.
Obviously, you want to be in the final, right? But if you're going to be in the third place, maybe you put less pressure on it, and you could finally let Hobbit kind of loose a bit, and
Yeah.
then it gives us the option to, well, gives them the option to look at the tighter play in which they injected him into Bondix positions. Now they can let him kind of off the chain and see what really amounts from that, and then they know what they can work with when they go back home and start to really shape things up again. So well, I should say for Pro League, but it's interesting to see that because it's an option for them.
Definitely so. We're already underway here, and lots of kills have gone down with this quick approach from Big onto the outer yard. In the fray, next being able to find two, and Roxy pushed all the way up. He should have had a sitter right there, but Angel's going to have to bail him out at the last minute. Hobbit will find the last kill, and the defuse will come in. So a swift start, and I expect to see a quicker play throughout both maps, right? If I was these teams and I was in this circumstance right here, sure, Hellraisers get an opportunity to really break Hobbit in. Let him have a little bit more freedom, like you said, and that's a cool side effect there. For Big, on the other hand, going into Pro League, they can identify the weaknesses that they've had in this tournament, try and repair those, and then still have their same level of prep. So really, this is a great way to have, I don't want to say practice, but it's an official on LAN with less consequences going into another event, right? They've come here, they've shown what they expected, their level, they made it to the place in the tournament that we all thought they'd get to, and now they just get a chance to play some more games in an environment where you don't often get to do it unless the circumstances are dire. Right now, it's not so dire.
Toxic swinging out with the MP9 is easily able to take down Smooya.
We're going to see so much of this, aren't we?
What?
Like, he's just pushing
Yeah,
Ivy with an
absolutely.
MP9, like, just,
I thought you meant me
obviously.
chanting. I was going to say, no, that's the last time.
Well, we could have some of that. Look at him go. He's not even stopping, pedal to the metal, just continuing through. He's going to find a second one, and this is why, ladies and gentlemen, I'll do my best to point out what differences there are, and normally, you know, people would go aggressive with an MP9, but he's not stopping. He's not playing for contain. He's playing for the frags, and the bomb will go down. They really want to stop that, but Hobbit's having a giggle. Look like they're having fun early.
Yeah, quick diffuse. Bomb plant, though, for Big. That's pretty important, considering we're now going to have a $1,900 injection based on the fact that we've got 2 rounds under us already. Excuse me, $2,400 injection. We start at $1,900. I knew what I was trying to say, but even then the math wasn't there. That's how new we are to it. But also the bomb plant means not only a full buy, but as you can see it, Smoothie gets an AWP with armor. It's not just a glass cannon. He not only, on top of that, has a smoke. So he's in a pretty good position considering they want to go for the utility on the CT, or on the T side. Excuse me, CT side, meanwhile, they've got 2 FAMASs, 4 rifles, but 2 FAMASs, which you definitely could argue are a bit of a handicap in this situation, but 3 kits, and both of the players with the FAMASs have elected to bring out kits. So that's almost by design in some respects. No utility for Voxic. Well, now he's got Tizian, he's got the AWP. $100 kill reward on the op. Not a lot, but he went from 0 to 100, that's why I noticed it. 0 to 100 real quick.
It's curious here because some of the things that can play out in these matches is the individuals can really run away with it. If you're playing completely free, you know, you're disregarding a lot of the normal structure that you would go with. This is where players who are born and bred in the likes of FPL, hold up a second, Tabson pushes out and is able to grab a kill onto Issa, one of the players who I was going to tout and talk about being a to come up through those ranks. Angel wants to re-aggress, he's going to find the kill, gets the trade, but he's stuck in a rock in a hard place, and Godbeer will take him out as it is going to be the outside yard as the point of attack.
Interesting angle for Dead Fox. E-Box covers A main, but he's hugging the wall, and he's got
awkward,
Foxic to cover off A main behind him. So it's not where you'd normally expect, where he's actually going to be hugged up next to the metal box, the electrical box. Oh, lining up. Oh, big miss from Next. Down to 2 HP as well. I think he seems a bit annoyed by that, and when they want to try and trade, oh my goodness. Dead Fox just absolutely nails his teammate, and Gobby gets them both. He got him through the... that's impressive. He got him through the E-Box. But when they tried to swing to originally trade off of Nex's information, they actually gave themselves up because they walked into Voxic's AWP. Gobby, terrific job to pull this back on the AWP, by the way. Maybe that's the loose play we're going to see. He's going to be wielding the AWP for big. But it's a one-on-one. Hobbit's waiting outside, not going to see much. Smoke going to bloom inside, and Hobbit now hears and rotates off of it. Bomb to be planted in the default position. Hobbit uses that time to get ever so close. But can he find him? Smoke down. Gobby's going to go into it. If he pushes through this smoke, certainly it favors him, but thankfully the AWP's going to up the ramp and away from Hobbit in the meantime. It doesn't really matter. Hobbit just shows up immediately. Thanks for the AWP. Thanks for the round. It's going to be 3-0 for Hellraisers.
Normally pushing a smoke is a risky play, but in this kind of scenario here with Gobby having to watch so many different positions, not knowing where Hobbit would be retaking from, calculated, able to catch him with his pants down. That was the one wall that he thought had standing in front of him. And that was real interesting, obviously. Dead Fox not dying to Nex there. Nex was actually looking at a teammate's screen by the looks of things. The swing out from team main to trade walked right into Voxic's hands, and at that point I thought it was all over, red or over, but there you go. There's the quick shot from Gob B. Not enough. They're able to buy again off the back of that plant, so we'll see 5 AK-47s. Utility in most of the players' hands. And there should be probably another set piece as they're doing their standard routine of smokes out into yard to bait out the CT utility. Foxholes next will be applying his. And this is just to keep the CTs honest, making sure that they can't get any free territory information without having to expend a little bit of their own. It's going to be an inside set piece by the likes of things here. And with the player in Pop Dog, means that they are able to rotate a secondary member to hold the inner bomb site. So we have Hobbit in tow with Voxic in the back line on the big green. And a player in connector of Angel who'll be able to rotate any minute even.
Smokes go down, one to cover off the train, another to cover off Z, but it's Hobbit up close. And Hobbit's who finds 3 as they walk into him and pretty much give themselves up. He was positioned perfectly. He should go down to Gobby. I take it back because he's going to slide up the train. He's not going to stay at the ladder. Gobby will instead get Dead Fox. It has gotten taken out by Nex, and that means we still have a chance. Nice. But Hobbits could absolutely find an ace here. 3 HP for Nex. Peek him, see him. Voxic gets the 5th kill. Assist to Hobbit. So what do we call that? Is that like a AC? He didn't get the E?
Yeah. Or he just likes air conditioning.
Could be that. Either way, not a bad round from Hobbit at all.
Tactical pause will come out from Big. Now, if you read the interview with Zeus from HLTV.org overnight, Zeus was saying that, you know, they were talking about the utility usage, and Zeus was saying he thinks they do a fantastic job with the utility, but it's more from a set plan. It's not situational. Thinks that they have very good use of their nades, but they know that they're going to throw them. You know, it's not like a mid-round decision. It's not like they're kind of pulling it out on the fly. And that looks similar with the set pieces we've seen. Obviously, we're only 4 rounds in here. There's a lot more to come. But that could be a true point with a team like Big. You know, they have a lot of strats. They have a lot of preparation. But are they as good in the mid-rounds? That's where you need to rely on the likes of Tabson, the likes of Nex to make some big plays and big kills. Whereas a team like Liquid, a team like Na'Vi, Astralis, they're very situational. That's the top 3 teams in the world, so that appears to be what the meta, what the strengths of it are at the moment. It will be a quicker play towards Yard. Gobby getting the Molotovs down. He's able to push all the way, and Smooya catches Dead Fox now. Fox standing and to deliver with one AWP. It will be smoked on off. That'll leave an avenue of attack out to the bomb side. Nex is going to get a kill of his own. Trade now falling in favor of Hellraisers. They should mop this one up relatively easily. Busy and left alive, and down he goes.
5-0. Big not on the board at all. We expect Gobby to adapt and start to really pull some things out. He hasn't done any of that yet. Second round with a full bonus. No bomb plant, however. That is an orange.
It's not a banana. It's a bit harder to eat, isn't it? You can't just peel it and whack it in your gob.
And when I peel an orange, I tend to get my hands all covered in citrus.
Yeah.
And
residue.
The orange juice. And then it gets sticky, and then it gets on my keyboard and my mouse. That's why my keyboard and mouse are sticky, by the way, if you're wondering, not any other reason. And it's a little bit of a problem because then I can't game, because I am a gamer. As it's next to take out Issa, he'll start things off. Big on the good side this time of the early pick.
That was from Pop Dog.
Smoothie is still waiting at A main. Might have some company here in a second. Voxic seems like he wants to go up nade instead to put him off the angle flash. That's more like it. Pick the correct nade, and now he has the angle. Done.
Problem with Tabson's position, so Voxy can't overstay his welcome. Has to be a little bit more cautious, and when their utility runs low, they have to drop back and play more of a passive setup. He will get an opportunity though. Positioned in sandwich. Now the nades will come out to displace him.
Tabson slides up the AK and gets to sandwich. That's a headshot. Oh, he didn't see him. That's a headshot to Voxic. Voxic legs Tabson, however. It was one or the other, not both. And apparently it was both because Dead Fox finally gets a kill back. It's still going to be a 5-on-3, and this time still favoring Big. So they work toward the sights. Molotov goes down on Z. Gombi will take over the tanker side, and they've cleared out the backside of Spool, so no one to surprise and deny the plant. On top of that, Hellraisers is now down to just 2 members. They need to start making sure they take some guns out of the hands to make this reset a bigger potential, if anything.
It looks like Dead Fox wants to get the AWP and save that if he can. Hobbit has enough money to reinvest into the next. Issa and Dead Fox are the only 2 who are really in trouble with the bank. Hobbit, as you said, is probably just going to try and grab exit kills here, playing a very awkward position. Might get spotted by Tizian, so this is a free kill for Hobbit. Tap, tap, away you go. And that'll keep them a little bit honest. Still going to maintain 3 players alive as they scurry back through the white walls. And we'll be holding on to all of their weaponry. So no dramas there, but there will be the first round on the board for Big. Able to get it with an opening pick from Nex. So he's taking down Issa over towards that electric box position. Proved very pivotal. Everything kind of fell off right there, but here we go. We got the scores on the doors nice and early. Voxic and Hobbit towards the top. Nex and Gobby getting it done early, and Tizian yet to find a frag, but he's the supportive player, so it's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles. So we're getting stuck back in here. The Orgs are not out to play yet. So
Not out yet.
no, that's an approach. It didn't seem like Hellraisers really have adapted to that in the same way that...
Big have.
Yeah,
Big will run 3. I'm calling it right now. They'll run 3 on the CG side if they get the chance.
This map is perfect.
The only one that won't is Gobby. He'll stay with the silencer. It's Pew Pew. The silence PewDiePie.
Hobbit hasn't died yet.
That's a terrific point. Angel. He's gone. Issa gets back Tabson, though. He hasn't died yet at 8, 1, and 0. Dead Fox will take down Tizian. So saving his weapon last time, obviously that implies for Hobbit, as we know as well, but...
Can't repeat this, really.
1 is 2. Can't. Smoothie's there. They need to get either a smoke down or a flash out to cover off the angle. And it's Dead Fox that wants to work out the high side instead. Keep in mind in all of this. Okay, I was going to say no, there's no flank. I was going to say they could push around it, but they're going to go all together, all at once. 3 to find. Nex is high. He can play off the bomb. He does not have a Molotov, but he has 2 flashes. The other 2 have Molotovs, though. Death, Gobby, and Smoothie. So they are quick about getting there. Hobbit's gone now, first time. It always happens the round you mention it. If they can hold off them getting there for enough time, and they've pretty much gone there now, they've got 2 Molotovs. They can just deny this plant all day long. But again, it's the 2 on the ground that have them, so they may not get a chance to throw them. Smoothie, I was going to say, he's got to throw it now, but he can't. Voxic's got him first. It's all on Next. Finds it in the smoke. He still may get the round, and he will. Great recovery, considering the Molotovs were gone.
He made that look really easy, didn't he? That 2-bullet burst through the smoke, takes down the diffuser. As soon as that happens, all pressure is off. Finds the 3rd, easy. Felt like a lot of pressure was mounting. I thought it was fantastic. Flash Smoothie, he goes for the peak, everything was working, the teamwork was there, but then they let them grab so much room on that retake. Looking at things now.
Gobby doesn't look super thrilled with that round either way.
Look how quickly Voxic has bought into this. This is a big tactical pause, so they're discussing what mistakes they just made within that mid-round and post-plant. But Voxic instantly is just force-bought. Now, if this is a theme of things to come, if he's going to be despondent, if he's going to be a guy just going for it, let's just play every round to win. Look, I don't have a problem with that. You know, with what's on the line, I don't have a problem with that. But if he's doing that and it's causing friction within the team, that's going to be an issue coming into next week. So make sure you're keeping everybody on side. You don't want to be upsetting your teammates this early on. They have been able to get a M4 up, scout, a couple of 5.7s. So if Voxic can get some tags, if he can roam in the dome and make his presence felt, could be a pressure point for Big, who want to go fast again. We'll throw their standard utility, their routine towards the yard, keeping Hellraisers honest again. Tizian's going to have company. As quick as you like. We did say that Hobbit hadn't died yet. Tizian's yet to get a kill.
Oh, they're like the antithesis of each other.
It's a good word.
It is a great word. Gobby waiting to work out from Pop Dog. Dead Fox certainly sitting and waiting for it. Is got the angle, actually spots him. Does some damage. Gobby forced off, and Dead Fox transitions. Takes a while, but takes down Tapson.
So much damage has been done to Nex and Gob throughout this. So now the 5-7s, it doesn't even matter that they're hardly investing the same level of weaponry into a round like this. A bullet to the toe, and both of those players will drop. Have to be very cautious how they approach this. Smooya has a lot of work to do. He's going to have to dominate some territory on the map as Dead Fox spams wildly. A bit of damage, not able to find the kill. And Smooya, that's the man I'm talking about. He has to be the pivot point for this team right here. He has a massive job in this round if they want to grab it.
Dead Fox gets to the corner, gets to the pistol, tries to get himself ready, but he can't do that because he's been taken out. Smooya with the kill. That's through the box, I think, as we see Voxic trying to go back with the scouts, trying to shut down Big. Unfortunately, the scout, the only gun left over. Low enough, though, that he can still do damage, and he's done exactly that on the next. He's got the movement mechanics in favor of the AWP. Manages to jump across. Oh, I thought Smooya was trying to get an angle on that. Instead, he realizes that with the time as such, he's got to plant the bomb. He does exactly that, but he's spotted, but likewise spotted Voxic and knows now he can get further away. He likes to stay on the AWP, despite that an AK is down, and we give him a bit more movement, but Voxic has to play this perfectly. Smoke for Voxic. No kit, however. No
Doesn't realize. He has no idea that Smooya just booked it out of dodge.
He's
this
checking
one's
it
hard.
still. He's going to realize it now, sees the bomb, pretty much has to go on it immediately, smoke down. Oh, shot doesn't land, but Voxic saw him and thought maybe he should take the fight instead. He's certainly trying to find him and knows he's on top of the train. Can't land it. I think Smooya goes down to the bomb blast. He can't get away, though. It's an awkward exchange, isn't it? There he goes. Smooya lives on 2 HP, and yet... Did he tag him with that? And then the bomb killed him?
I didn't see
Because how does
if
it do 100
not.
HP at 5 feet difference versus 35 HP?
Voxic didn't have any armor.
Good point. Okay, could have been that. You're right. Here it is. This is earlier in the round.
Wait, this
I
is
wonder
straight
if we're
through
going
the
to get to
smoke?
it.
What? What?
That's insane.
That's 2 people he didn't even see. Big round from Smooya. I said he needed to step up to get it done, and he did do so. Now it's going to be a pistol upgrade coming up from Hellraisers. Not a lot backing him into this round, but close up hop again, and next will fall. Tizzy, and he's on the board. He's going to trade out Angel, and it is a fast yard approach. They want to use those rifles at range and utility to clear out the close points, and another kill for Tizzy. Now, as soon as I called out both these players, their fates were almost sealed. I didn't think the caster curse was real, but apparently it is.
Oh, it's very real, Chad. You actually have a responsibility to watch what you say.
Damn.
Which I'm very good at. Tapson takes down Voxic. I'm just watching my Twitch delay to see if he did tag him. No, he didn't. The bomb just killed him straight up with no armor.
Plus, also, the train would have been in the way of the explosion.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
But
Yeah, all right. I didn't think Valve was that technical sometimes, you know, I question things. Grenades can't go through chains, bombs can, who knows?
they can't use the number 3. All right, well, now it gets interesting. Now we're looking at 5-4 in favor of Hellraisers, but that's 4 on the trot for Big here. Loss bonus is built to a point where Hellraisers will be able to buy. It's not going to be the most optimal buy by any means. Voxic's gone glass cannon. I think he had 40, what do you have, 48.50? So with the AWP being that expensive, he can't get any utility, any kit, any of the goodies, so that's all he has. The rest of the team is looking pretty with their utility. It's going to be the opening routine once again. Now, the reason that I keep pointing this out is because it has to bait out utility from Hellraisers. They're setting a pattern, and that pattern is Smooya grabbing a big AWP kill there and toppling Voxic once more. This has been very one-way traffic in the last 5. Hasn't even felt remotely danger-filled.
Not exactly the flashbang they were looking for. As Angel can't spray to find Nex, and Nex staying alive is able to get a second on Issa. Nex as well, going to throw out some smoke to the backside of the site, trying to isolate, try and work in, but it's Hobbit on the flank. Hobbit on the flank, and it ain't no prank. He's got 2. You're not Hank. But I'd like to thank you, Chad, for being here.
I've never driven in a tank.
But you have had a cheeky wank.
Damn.
That went full circle.
It did. Double AWPs now. Dead Fog's going to pick up one of his own. They're going to have to drop across a couple of weapons. There'll be
You
an
know why you
SMG.
haven't driven a tank? You don't have enough money in the bag.
That one would have worked. How much do you reckon it costs to drive a tank?
To drive, probably not a lot. To own
Oh,
one, probably a lot.
Oh my God.
Smoothie again? Hobbit gone? Oh, I thought he was going to get Angel there as well.
They've
So
let
that was
him off the
corner
hook.
shot. Sorry?
They've just let him off, Smooth off the hook. He's just gone for whatever picks he wants, right? That's a spawn-based situation. He's dropped in. A lot of players who are anchoring the inner bomb site will go to that low ramp and jiggle peek. If you know what utility they tend to throw, if it's the smoke first, if it's the flash first, then you can approach that in a different fashion. And just going straight in. Dead Fox is really aggressive on Ivy. He's not going to be ready for that as both sets of players were in transition. Tabson will get the kill. We'll pick up the AWP. Next only has a Deagle, so there is weaponry for him to pick on up. But Voxic wants to re-pick into this, and quicker than Tabson, so maybe caught talking, maybe caught discussing what the next move was going to be, because he should have had the jump in that scenario. Now they're going to reposition. Now they're going to head back over towards the inner bomb site. They have enough utility to smoke off connector, Molotov out a couple of close corners and hit the bomb site. But it looks like there's going to be a late lurk coming out from Tizian over towards Ivy. It all comes down to the duel against Angel on this inner bomb site, who's playing on the front side of the coils.
Gobby next, waiting to get inside of the site. Oh, gonna get in there as well, because Angel steps out, couldn't find either. Fire between. Pistol kill, actually, for next. That's what he elected to work with. The AWP, not what his intended desire, I should say, is when working in on that close range. Missed shot from Voxic. Still wants to try and find more using the ladder to get vision. Next, Molotov back behind. That slows down the flank. That's a problem. Because now Issa pushed it. He pushed it. That's actually so smart in that situation because they wouldn't have expected it. He loses half of his HP but gets one kill, bringing us to a one-on-one after he's traded, but Gobby's too smart. And we're back to one round.
And the reset right now comes on in for Hellraisers. Their money absolutely destroyed at this point. The most they've got on any player will be Angel on 27.50. And Voxic, look at it, Matt. He's gone for the force buy. He's gone straight in. Now, look, I'm not saying that this doesn't make sense. Normally, when you get reset in that fashion, you tend to have to take a double eco anyway. But they could have gone for 2 rounds back-to-back of pistol upgrades. They want to fight. They want to try and stay in control of this economy because on the other side of things, for Big Clan, their money's also quite average. So if they were to lose this, if they were to drop to the upgraded pistols, the Scout, the MP9, the tables would turn once more. But right now, Big are winning this tussle. They're definitely winning the battle of economy, and grabbing this one here would cement that. Smooya again. Opening kill. That's 3 in a row from him. He's got 2 onto Voxic in the last 3 rounds and 1 onto Hobbit over towards that low ramp. So right now, if we're looking at a head-to-head duel between the snipers of both squads, Big are definitely getting the better of Hellraisers. And now the secondary offer goes down to the hand of Smooya as well. So this is looking very good for Big in this first half.
Ooh, fantastic shot from Issa with the pistol, punishing Gobby the second that he revealed himself. They try to spray to where the AK is next and does a little bit of damage, but Issa picking that up is able to sneak back out and get a second headshot at the top of the ladder. Pretty straightforward, in fact, as Nex was kind of just sitting there expecting he wouldn't re-peek. Hobbit rotating 5-7. AK is going to do the same. They're going to get there at the exact same time as their opposition, and Issa's got a third. Great round from him, giving Hobbit a slim chance. I say slim because he's got to use a 5-7 at range, but they don't know where he is. Oh, they line it up as well. I think he actually got damage onto both with those shots, but any other gun, he might have had the round. I say any other gun, any rifle, he might have had the round.
I think Big have to be pretty upset with the way that these rounds are unfolding after getting basically 2 free openings, right? They're still close. They're still being kept very honest. And you can see that reflected in their buy. Having to drop guns over, I'm looking at it right now in spawn. However, it shouldn't be much of a problem because this will force Hellraisers to take that full eco. They can't reinvest. They can't force buy again unless they really want to squander this first half. We're on board with Smooya, who's had so much opening success. Let's see if he can find it again. A couple of players really getting close to his position. If he overstays his welcome, he could get chased on down. Dink, dink goes the USP, and Tabson able to be the guardian angel and save his life, allow him to get away on 5 points of health. He's going to just make sure he doesn't drop to that as Tabson can take over that position. So between Tabson and Smooya over towards this team aim position, over 4 rounds, they've found opening kills. Tabson lurking and pushing through smokes at random times. Smooya finding AWP kills. There's Tabson again. So those guys alone have been the opening force for Big. It's just these mid-rounds of where things get a little bit dicey, maybe indecisive at times, and so we'll find a Deagle bullet onto Smooya. That's dropping the AWP, but it's so far away it can't be picked up and used.
Gotta be back outs toward the E-box. Smoke down, checks ticket. The man advantage for Big in a 6-6 affair after being 5-0 down at the start of this. It's a good comeback, and it's a bomb planted. It's pistols to go against them, and the pistols without any armor, any kits, any utility, but more kills for Hobbit as he finds God B. That's punishing the economy yet again. Now, the question is, can they get a gun picked up from their efforts? Another kill. This is found next. Again, I mean, this was a 4-on-3 with no guns invested, and now you're making it, I shouldn't say no guns, but you're making it more interesting than it needed to be. Tabson will at least punish Issa before he gets away with an AK. That was the goal. But it's 7-6 nonetheless. Big in the lead in this, our third place decider match.
Looking at this situation right here with the pause coming in, I assume this is going to be a tactical timeout for Hellraisers to discuss what buy is possible. Because they've been going for these force buys instead of just going for pistol upgrades in back-to-back rounds, they're unable to get an optimal buy. You can see on the left-hand side of your screen there, the money. Now on the CT side, for those of you who aren't too familiar with the way Counter-Strike works, everything costs a little bit more. The rifles, a little bit more expensive. The utility, a little bit more expensive. You have to grab that defuse kit. So with their money, the buy is going to be poor. There won't be full utility. There doesn't look like there's going to be an AWP because I can see that Voxic has himself an M4A4. Famous on the likes of Dead Fox, having to, I guess, give up a bit of ground as opposed to buying a stronger rifle purely to get that utility and not a single defuse kit. So if Big can get the bomb down on a map like Train, the life for Hellraisers will get more and more difficult. You're not using the same level of opening utility here, so looks like a similar approach. They're just doing their default spread. Next keeps Foxholes honest. Gotta be worrying about Pop Dog early. Tabson and Smooya appear to be that duo over towards main, and Tizian's duty is for Ivy. Now, with this slower approach, I think they were expecting more aggression to come out from Hellraisers because they've been losing the battle when they've been dictated to, and it hasn't happened in a crazy assertive manner, but Hobbit has so much information. He right now is the key for me in Hellraisers taking this round.
Foxic's going to swing this surely. And kill. Ooh, there was a kill. I knew there was going to be a kill. Told you there'd be a kill. I totally meant Foxic. That's not bad from Smooya. Up above the smoke. He's going to push in. Sees another. That's free. Assist down. No response to the communication.
Where's the communication?
Yeah, you'd think like, hang on, you died at Ivy. I'm standing in the open. Surely that op's on my ass. As Angel gets one back onto Nex, it's him versus 5. Was 5. It's going to be a round for Big. This is now going to be 8-6, which means since they've started winning rounds, they're going to go 8-1. Tizian gets the shot finally to close it out. I would have given him a chance on the HP, but the positioning suggested otherwise. That's why I predicted the future like a crystal ball.
Ah. I didn't realize you had that kind of power.
I'm not bad, right?
I'm just having a look right now at the opening duels, the success rates here. Smooya so far, and that isn't including the round because HLTV.org scoreboard hasn't caught up just yet. But Smooya has 4 opening kills, so success, and 1 opening death. And Tabson has 2. After this round, it was 3. So 1. So between the two of them, in the 8 rounds that they've won, these guys have made 7 opening frags. It's quite nice. Stats man.
Stats man.
Do I wear a cape or do I have to like
Stats
have
man.
glasses or something?
I don't know. Statsman Bruno used to wear crazy suits. Maybe you need to do that.
I don't even wear
He's
suits.
the official esports statman. And one of the only casters from another game that I don't despise.
Isn't he Ice Frog?
I'm kidding, by the way. I don't mind all of you. Some of you are all right.
Isn't he Ice Frog?
No, Ice Frog's the guy that creates the heroes and tweaks
Yeah,
them.
no,
and
but isn't that
whatnot.
the rumor that
Bruno's Ice Frog?
Yeah.
Maybe. He's working on Artifact now, so that would be kind of cool.
Yeah, I
Ice
wanted
Frog
to play
Bruno?
that game.
Hmm?
I wanted to play that game.
I've heard good things, actually. 8-6. 6 rhymes with sticks. And I don't know where that goes. but it's a fact, at least. Jack.
It is. Can't argue with facts.
We can't argue with fact. Well, you can. And then you could be a politician. As it's a 4-on-3 with very little weaponry on the favored side. That said, the AKs can easily pull back. If Issa he's having an absolute stellar game in Pop Dog with 5-7. That's like his, I want to say, 5th kill with a 5-7, and all of those rounds have been multi-kills. Now he's got an AK picked up. That's tremendous. Not only that, he's got the information as to where Tizian is. Won't peek it immediately because he knows that they'll be staring him down, but they're not done. Hobbit, he's gone. It could be Tizian, low HP, to pull this back. Great nade. Issa, I applaud you. Brilliant round.
You're right. Once he's been able to get control of Pop Dog, he's had so much success. Feels like they've been dropping to their death time and time again. So even half, all things considered, a fantastic start from Hellraisers. They kicked it off with 5 consecutive rounds. Big bounce back. They definitely looked more competitive in the gun rounds. They were converting a lot of opening kills for free. Got messy in the mid to late rounds, but still able to grab 8 on the T side of Train. You have to be happy with that. And that's a team effort. We have Nex on 15, Tabs and Smooyer on 12 apiece. The other side of things, Vox Ganisa towards the top of the scoreboard. Hobbit with 12, so this is a good performance from him. No one's really lagging that far behind on either squad.
Someone says that Artifact is very...
Pay to win.
Pay to win? Yeah, that's, I mean, obviously...
Lucky I got money then, I guess.
Someone just said CS commentary is, wow, okay.
What did they say about us?
No, they're saying that we're the worst of any of the esports. You know what? The fact of the matter is, in like literally every vote in the last 3 years, we've won. Nice nade. I like it. 8, 7.5. Split down the middle, but you have to give credit to Big as they went essentially 8-2 after they started winning rounds. 5-0 lead from Hellraisers fell extremely short, and this pistol off to a similar start as Nex takes out Angel at the beginning. Smooya backs off, goes toward the hitch. Good crossfire set with Nex and Smooya. He's already spotted, which means he's hook, line, and sinker, and the bait has the kills. Nex with both. Watch for Hobbit. He's got to pull this all back. No chance, I would say, except for that it's Hobbit, and he's got room to work with, meaning 1:20 and no one immediately on top of his position. So he can wiggle on out and potentially make plays, but Tabson's aware of that, and he's positioned himself quite smartly for it.
Not only that, Matt, look at Hobbit's KAD. It's 1-3-3-7, for those of you who weren't aware. Anyway, he won't get another kill from there, and he will drop. That was a nice round from Nex, continuing to have impact, continuing to be a bit of a resurgence. We want to make sure that these performances from him are not a blip on the radar. If he can consistently return to this form, if he can play like this all the time, with Tabson, how we know he can be consistent, and Smooya finding a lot of impact on the AWP. We mentioned it yesterday, this is where Big become their most scary. And look at it, Matt. The Orgs, they're out 3 immediately. Next got B and Tabson. With MP9s being the sidekicks in this situation. This can be an inside explosion with the flashes. So one will pop to get the low ramp, where Tizian will have to drop this Molotov, and the other one should be used to flash back as they hit the yard. So there's the first. Now they push across. Molotov comes down. He's blind up. They have to push through, and straight into the blender they go. From range, Tabson's going to find himself 3. Tizian's going to get one with the Molotov.
I thought you were going to get baited into that with the similarity in names, right? Because when you read them quickly, it could have been Tabson for all 4, but Tizian does get 1.
Big Tiz. Having a Tiz is like having a tantrum. We say that in the shirt, yeah?
That's right. Yeah, we say that in Canada too. He's not having a bit of a Tiz. I think the first time I heard it, though, was actually watching Viet Supercars.
There you go.
And Mark Scaife said it.
Scafey.
Good old Scafey. But yeah, I've heard it, a few people say it since. It's like one of those things that once you become awoken to, like, you hear it once, then you hear it everywhere. Hobbit really wants this position. He's going to try and get down there. Tabson's the one waiting this time with the AUG and gets spammed completely through the metal and takes one step too far back. That Molotov that was actually awkwardly bounced as he went down the ladder works out in his favor. I don't think that was intended, but it gets a kill, so why not?
They're the best kills. The ones that you didn't mean to do.
Yeah, when it's like serendipitous in a way, it just kind of works out for you. Nice nade. Voxic definitely feels that one.
Rattled to the core. Next is going to take over that position where Tabson fell, and this is important because he can pivot. Whenever this attack comes in, he has a chance. If he gets a multi-kill, the close range of this as well, even if he finds a player on 100 HP, the armor penetration will drop him with 1 bullet. Smooth with the AWP, look, he's seeking out information, and they are gamble stacking towards this outer yard. And that is where Hellraisers are actually going to go. So, look, they're not strung out on this defense. Smooth is not going to land. That was an important kill to make. And here's Nex. He's able to pivot from that position we spoke about, and that's going to really slow down this attack.
Smoothie waiting on top of the bomb train, but predictably, he's spammed through it. Back onto Voxic. Recognize that that came from the top of the train. It's the only angle you can get there without revealing yourself from it. So position to find the counter kill. Smoothie was then countered himself, but it all comes down to Hobbit. As the Augs are starting to be menacing, it's going to be Hellraisers at least pulling one back. Their first of the second half. It comes on round 3, which means the money is a bit of a problem now for the CT side. Tizian has enough to buy. No one really else in that position. Tapson, you could force it, but why bother at this point? Pistols is the call, and that's exactly what they're going to go for.
Sometimes it's very curious. I wonder, with this change, would Tizian have made those 2 kills if he had an M4 in that situation? It's fully, like, it's speculative. We don't know. We can't really go back. We can't wind the clock back. We can't give an M4 and see how that would have gone down. But that's impact. That's damage to the economy here. So whatever they can do with these pistol upgrades, we've got some P250s, we've got some Deagles. They can take a couple more kills. That magic number, everybody. Make sure you get 3 kills around. Keep the economy honest. That's all they need to do. Able to pull anything off here. Godby will be happy. But this one's a very close affair. Hellraisers should go up to 9 rounds to the 10 of big. But this is well and truly considered to be a CT-sided map. Interestingly, they've walked all the way in for contact.
And not gotten any.
Not seen anything. Not tried to even bait or anything. Not thrown any grenades, really.
You'd think that if you got that far for contact as well, and you know you're against pistols, you would think that they aren't there and maybe keep going. It's kind of peculiar.
Yeah. I'm going to go yard, and this is where things get a little bit more dangerous. This is where the pistols could be more menacing, but not going to be a problem. They're going to deal with the close-range players easily, and now the rest funnel through connector. Going to fall one at a time, and this is where we get into the rounds that matter, the gun rounds. The AWPs are going to come out. So let's see if they go with the double AWP setup. We know Smuya rocks it. We know Tabson can, and Godby from time to time will pick it up as well.
So next leads all fraggers, 20 and 15, but 17 and 17 for Hobbit and Voxic come up second in the server. Hobbit still with single-digit deaths at 9, so he's been very efficient throughout this game. As we get immediately back into it, 1 round separating the 2 teams with 19 already played. Tapson toward the bomb train, nade toward A main. No one in there all directly. In fact, they backed away after throwing out the initial smokes. Hobbit, meanwhile, inside. Has to avoid that second nade because he went into an exchange, took some damage, the nade goes up, and Godby gets the kill. So 1-for-1 trade. Dead Fox managing to back away at 41 HP. But the gun's not ideal for Big. And they can't really afford to go any further up those stairs to try and pull the gun away from Hobbit's corpse. A nade up there, maybe blow it forward, but it's all speculative at that point in time, considering they don't have information. So the better call, as Godby knows, is to back away.
Still going to go inside, and quite a quick approach. They're not using utility to clear. They're just going to go in dry, and that gives Godby a chance to find a kill. Keeping it even at 3. As I say, that Dead Fox is going to find 1. And East has lurked out Ivy. So this round should be over, unless Tabson can swing at the right time, and he will. The bomb will get dropped. There's still 50 seconds left, so time's not the enemy, but right now, mass confusion is, and Voxic will go down. Now all the pressure is on Issa, who has 2 kills to find, and the awareness of Nex. That round should never have ended in that fashion.
Not even remotely. 11-9 now, 2 rounds between, and this now brings guns back up on the CT side. They've got 2 AKs and an AWP. They've got money enough for the next round, but we're getting into reset potential for either side at this point.
Just to critique a little bit more there, Matt, on what could on why I think that was so poorly played from Hellraisers. If you knew that Issa was going for a flank play along those lines, why are you planning in the default position? There's no way that if everything, even if you get the bomb, everything falls apart.
Do you know who
has a long rotation?
Do you know who I think's the best for that? Is Astralis. They're so good at identifying when they don't have control of like a standard position and adapting the bomb to it. Smuya takes down Issa. I know it seems like an easy thing to say Astralis is good at something, but like they're really good at that.
So those little details that really differentiate the top dogs from the tiers below. With that opening kill and the double AWP setup, which we speculated coming out, Tapson is the second man to pick it up. Lots of pressure on Hellraisers. How do they want to approach this? No utility at all. 1 flashbang. What are you going to do with that, boys? An explosion is your only option. Hoping that Big gets sloppy and reaggress. Very slow round. With that one flash, you know, there's a few options you can go for here. Get close to T main, pop the flash on over, and hope you bought yourself enough time and enough space to get on out and take those jewels as the CTs repick. Go towards inside, pop that flash through, hope that you can get on down and trade on out. That's all you can hope for in this kind of situation. There isn't too many plays which make sense. It's Smuya, where he's sitting right now. Highly unlikely that a flash is going to get him here. Player almost offers himself up. They're just going to get out T main, but that's more than enough to give them space. With 21 seconds on the clock, it will be the out of play. Utility going to be exchanged, and the CTs can rotate over. Gobby's going to take some damage, but at this point, the cavalry needs to be arriving.
Smuya trying to find something back toward the edge. It's Nex instead, somehow in the open with no cover to get the bomb, turn it at 180, and then take down Angel, emerging from the pop dog, 12-9. And we talked about that reset. It goes the way of Hellraisers first. Double op 2 AK.
And the
Og. I was like, what's the fifth one going to be?
Durr. It's a scary sounding gun, isn't it? All right, well, going to be the full eco coming out from Hellraisers. No utility to make this interesting at all. They're going to spread on out. Some of the things you can do when you get to high levels of Counter-Strike like this, if you want to take an eco round along these lines, you're not just going to rush into things. You're going to sit back, you're going to bait out utility, you're going to run down the clock, you're going to spread out. And that's what they've done. Sure, Angel's fallen relatively quickly. But look at how much utility Gob just had to throw out to mitigate that area. And there's a flash left. You can do that in several positions across the map. It seems like a nothing scenario, you know? It's not putting a round on the board, but Counter-Strike is a game that trickles on. And every round matters, especially in close games like this. He's going to come out, not going to land. Smooth spot up to you. That's the case. He's going to go to Nex. He's going to spam down 4. And this form continues as the once greatest player in German CSGO is showing a little bit of a spark. Now we have a tactical pause coming out from Hellraisers, talking things through because we're at the pressure point. 13 rounds for big. They grab this one. And that should pretty much be enough to get them through. The loss bonus obviously accumulating. Right now we have seen them get the 2,400. Next round will be the 2,900. But with them emptying the reserves to have a buy round here, it won't be enough to buy. So from this point on for Hellraisers, unless they can start converting rounds, it's going to be scrappy at best.
Yeah, it's going to be very scrappy. Big taking advantage on Train. This one of two of our best of threes today. This is the third place decider. We've got a show match in between, which will be a little bit of fun. And then we get into business as usual with the grand final. That being NRG versus Liquid. There's a time ages and ages hence when two North Americans on European soil playing in a final was an anomaly. This one seemed almost predictable coming into this event.
Yeah. Like we've been talking about, the entire theme so far of this tournament is there were things that we expected to happen. Now, if they didn't happen, especially for the top dogs, that's where the wheels would start to fall off. The wheels are definitely falling off for Hellraisers. They're in a 4-on-5 early, and they're trying to aggress onto the yard. But Nex continues to light the scoreboard up, picking and pivoting, getting kills all across the board, and now it's just left for the rest of the players to mop on up. Gobby and Tizian from range take down the final two members of Hellraisers, and quickly up to 14 rounds of big. A really good first half battling back in to what looked like they were almost down and out when they were 5-0. Tizian didn't have a kill. And now they're sitting pretty. This is their map choice. The second map will be Inferno. That's the choice of Hellraisers. Obviously, they've identified some weaknesses that they think they can exploit. I noticed a few things yesterday that Big do. They give up a lot of banana control. Maybe that's something that Angel and Johns are sort of a way of dealing with that. They did great on the retakes, though. So I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. We have to finish off Train. Will be a pistol upgrade. So Hellraisers pretty much conceding 15 at this point. Fast Ivy play, 3 players about to run into Smuya. Gets a dink across. Gobby's there to make sure nothing too dastardly goes down. You're continuing to reign supreme, and Nex again. 30 kills for him now. 30 in regulation. Game's not even over yet.
Not yet.
I'm telling you, Matt, it's the hat.
It's the hat. The hat's back.
The hat?
The hat came back the very next day. That's the cat came back. You know that song?
Meow.
Yes, obviously you do.
That was no in cat.
Obviously I don't speak cat.
I don't really know. The only thing I know about cats is they have there's a thing called toxoplasmosis. Do you know about toxoplasmosis?
I don't.
I'll tell you a bit more about it later, but this looks like a fast round. Box is going to drop straight down Pop Dog, know that it's in control, and because of that aggressive smoke that's come on out from Big. So here they get a chance to pivot freely between Box Halls and Pop Dog. Good points of rotation, and Big have opted for more of a passive setup. Tabson is the only one in the front lines with the AWP. He's going to get a chance to have a duel against Angel, and he will not miss. All bullets straight through the dome. And I don't know where an Angel goes after they get killed, but one would assume they're already in heaven.
Could be in hell. He's on Hellraisers. It could just be there to be Gule. He's entirely a hoax.
I might get a chance to tell you
He's
about
the snake in the grass.
toxoplasmosis right now.
Okay.
So it's a parasite that cats give to mice and rats, so rodents, so they're no longer scared of the smell of cats. So what they do is they'll like just stand and fight a cat, so the cat will just eat it. Doesn't even have to chase it
Yeah,
anymore.
but snakes can eat cats. There are some snakes in this world that will totally just swallow a cat.
But we're talking about rodents.
Oh,
Also,
sorry.
humans can get
I thought you said
toxoplasmosis as
snakes
well.
when you said that as well, when you said the mouse.
And it also,
Oh, sorry, you said to make the mouse not scary.
yeah. So it basically what it does
I'm
is
learning.
basically what it does is it actually changes the brain function of the rodents permanently.
Well, Big have the advantage on this, potentially the final round. The first map, that is. We have Inferno coming up next. That's Hellraiser's choice. Hobbit's got other ideas on this one. He wants overtime. Voxic's got Gobby on the flash. It's Tabson and Smooya. The only two remaining for Big. Bomb planted as well. They may have to just back off of this double up setup to try and retake with 2 kits. Fair play, but they've got to try and get toward a gun, and Tabson's going to give them another one on the floor directly in front. This Hobbit is found sneaking up towards Z Connector. Deep smoke as well, which means the lane can work. They're giving this a go. Smooya finds yet another one on the angle. He's in the open. He's dinked. How did Deadfox not find that kill? AK, and they're both in one spot. That's it. That's done, and quite frankly, deserved as Big pull it back.
How many free kills did Hellraisers just want to give away in that post-plant situation? Either they're more than happy to give this one away quickly, but a 16-9, that's a commanding victory there from Big. Going for the bronze. They've got to be happy with that. Bouncing back after being 5 rounds down. Fantastic performance from Nex. Look at him, 31 kills on the board. Tabson the next closest, sitting on 21. So vintage Nex here. It's great to see him returning to this. Up next, we will have Inferno, which we've already alluded to.
Yeah, that's Hellraiser's map choice. So if they were able to steal this, they would have been in a fantastic position. I want to point out the fact that Hobbit led the way on 20.
Yes.
They didn't seem as structurally rigid today, but I don't know how much of that's going to implement them moving forward, but it's just nice to see. Nice to see a new player in a new team. After playing in a team for over 2 years, it seems crazy. I remember Hobbit's breakout event that DreamHack went through 2 years ago, that he was on one roster for that long, right? He went from being a rookie to like a veteran like that.
Yeah, we know
roster.
how things can get very mentally stale after a period of time. So here's a chance for him to kind of reinvigorate his career.
And that's the point. It takes, when you go from that, it takes some time to re-implement yourself.
Especially when you try to change your identity, right? Try to be the in-game leader, try to do it all over there. So not
I
great
tried to
signs.
change my identity once too.
Yeah.
That's why I have blonde hair. It's over to the panel where they don't have blonde hair, but they are beautiful.
Not as beautiful as you guys. Not as beautiful as you guys. I would definitely like to have that blonde hair. I had that red hair moment when I did that thing for charity, but yeah, wasn't as extreme as Matt's in that sense. What was quite extreme was the way that Big just manhandled Hellraiser, especially that last round. How on earth are you pushing with 2 orbs and Tabson pulls out the CZ, Deadfox doesn't know what hit him and he just gets pushed down completely. The confidence that came out from Big in that game, I am impressed.
Listen, even though that the scoreline wasn't so harsh, I think Big was in control the whole game, right? You have to consider Hellraiser starts CT on train, they're up 5-0.
Yeah.
That's the best situation you can ever be in. That means you can have double up. We saw Deadfox and Woxic running that setup. You have all the money, you have the smokes, the Molotov. That's where you're supposed to have complete control over the game. And yet, we see Big slowly grinding back, pushing Hellraisers in complicated situations, finding up with frag. We saw Smooya be extremely active and aggressive with his op. And once Big had the economical edge, that was it. That was done. The half finishes 8-7, I think. And from this point, to me, it looked like Big has already won the map.
One of the things I said, right, was Hobbit, Train, Inferno, they're the maps he's known for. This guy did put up a good fight, but there was little moments like this, and the one we just saw there where Nex clutched out the 1v3, that was the turning point, right? That's where Hellraisers went, oh, okay, we're not going to hold on to this lead for too long. We best be able to try and battle back. But as soon as Big came into the server, fragging-wise, I just, like you were saying, Maniac, there was no way I could see Hellraisers coming back.
Yeah, it was a strong start for Hellraisers, and then they just picked up odds and ends from that point forward, exactly like you guys said. I mean, you've got Nex there popping off. That's something we talked about. You know, is he going to be in the similar form to the last game we saw them play, where everybody was dropping off and it was Tabson on top? Or was it going to be this next? The 30 kills, the 130 ADR. You've got Tabson and Smooya turning up as well. Nobody doing a bad job, and that's it. Exactly like you said, James. Once they started fragging, there was just no stopping them. I feel like Hellraisers showed a bit of a weakened side there towards, well, after the first 5 rounds, really. You know, like we said, odds and ends. And moving over to Inferno, then, you know, we saw how good Big are there.
It's going to be complicated. I just want to say Nexus performance has to be one of the most positive that Big is going to take out of this tournament, right? Because as we already knew, at least I already knew that Big was a tactical sound team. They play good Counter-Strike. They have good principles, that's for sure. But Nex, yes, their history of being have been present and then absent, hit and miss, on and off. He's been performing the whole tournament. Yes, it wasn't enough to, you know, clutch a spot in the grand final, but still, very impressive performance.
Can we start some like hashtag here, like let's have Nex have his cap back or something like that?
The next cap.
Yeah, next cap.
Next cap.
At this point, it must be true because he's literally every day gets to wear it. No problems
I don't want to spread false rumor about the cap and the skill. I feel like viewers at home might get confused. You could see a lot of people play with caps because they think that's how it works. I don't want to promise you guys that's how it works.
That I don't agree with. But if it works for him, since that he puts a cap on, maybe it helps him focus to see the crowd. I have no idea. I'm rolling with Chad's. I'm rolling with Chad's idea of how this will pay off. But I genuinely see there is just night and day difference between how good he's been, because it's like we see Nex and okay, he occasionally will have a good game, he play all right. But this is like we've gone back in time.
Listen, I've played against Nex many, many times, practice in officials. I'm gonna tell you like, not a private story, like an anecdote. You play against Nex in a practice, he's gonna have between 38 and 45 kills all the time. That is always the case. We used to play against them. Would it be with Titan, with LDSC, doesn't matter, and get so frustrated because he would destroy us. Mechanically speaking, he was so on point, and I think his positioning is pretty well. And then we didn't know what would happen in officials. We would watch him play and, you know, disappear, struggle a little bit. Of course, it had to be mental. At this point, I have no other explanation to offer. So if he can fix that, and I don't really care if that's the cap or if he bought a cat or a dog, or it doesn't really matter to me. But Big could really step up if he's able to pull that kind of performances consistently.
Hey, well, it worked out for him so far as we move into Inferno, and I think this is the bit now where you'll have a bit more of a firefight on their hands, right? It's not going to be something where we're going to see them be able to kind of run away with it. And you look at the scoreboards here, Hellraisers quite a confident team when it comes to it, but even then, both teams play it. One of the reasons when Big first came to their fame, right, the rise of Big was around the Inferno plays and how they structured it, how they kind of changed some of the meta around that map in particular.
And recently they've been putting up those seriously good performances as well. I mean, you see it there. They've taken down Na'Vi 2 out of 2 times recently. They took Tyloo down. I mean, that game was just a blowout. But then looking at the Liquid one, sure, they struggled to close that out, but overall a positive performance. So, like we said, this is a seriously big risk for Hellraisers. Sure, that they're a strong team on Inferno. I'm not trying to take that away from them, and this is generally a map that we see Hellraisers pulling out of the bag, but they had cash there. And that's a map that, like you brought up, Maniac, in the pre-segment, Big aren't as strong on cash as they are in Inferno. You know, it's one of those maps that's kind of towards the bottom of their pools. They don't mind it, but they don't pick it.
This is probably a scenario where the team is more prepared than we can expect, or we can just base the number on. We see that win against G2, 16-5. That was already with Hobbit, if I'm not mistaken. That was in Pro League.
Yes,
so maybe it's a case of a new player joins the team, you play a few maps here and there, and you have that instant feeling, okay, this is clicking. This map, this is clicking. We don't have to put so much work into it. The position, if it's comfortable in the game plan, that makes sense. So this is going to become a map that we can master quite quickly. And I think that's what happened on Inferno. Historically, I would say a pretty good map for Hellraisers. I've never thought of them as a bad Inferno team.
Absolutely.
And I think we have all the makings of a great map here because both teams can play it.
Obviously, Mitch, you went for the 2-1 going into this. You still think Hellraiser got a chance on Inferno after what you saw there on train?
Sure, it was a little bit demotivating, right? Nex turned up, but we've seen him drop off between maps, granted, after a loss. And like you said, perhaps the difference between practice and officials was a mental game. So when you have that loss, maybe the mental game does come into play a little bit. But I'm going to believe Hellraisers have got something in store for us here on Inferno. And I think 2-1's still a reasonable expectation, provided they can pick themselves up after what was a little bit of a demotivating 20 rounds or so.
All right, well, thank you very much, guys. We'll be coming back after a quick break, so make sure you guys are there ready for the action and ready to join us, because it'll be the second map, and the question is, will Inferno be the one that Hellraisers can try and put in the bag, or will Big close this out 2-0? It could be close, it could go either way, and we're still not fully sure what we'll see from Hellraisers, but you'll be seeing it shortly as Chad and Sadicus will be back to do more commentating on the match very shortly. We'll see you guys in a sec.
Sie haben eine Big Box bestellt?
Frati, wer war das?
Das war irgend so ein hässlicher Typ, Mann. Riesengroß war der auch.
Hässlicher Typ? Ich mag keine hässlichen Typen.
Ich auch nicht, ey.
Was ist denn das?
Ich glaube, das ist so eine Big Box bei runtime.gg. Vielleicht sollten wir das Unboxing-Video machen. Lieber nicht, ne?
Banks have failed to move with the times, but we don't need them. Back in 11th century Italy, merchants from all over would exchange their different currencies for trade outdoors on benches, which is where we get the word bank from, banca. They started as a way of making our lives easier. Unfortunately, this all changed. As the bank profits grew bigger, customer experience was lost in a maze of paperwork and bureaucracy. They invented new and complicated ways of growing their margins, built on hidden fees and taking liberties with their customers' money. But there's a solution. Revolut Metal, a stainless steel card that does more than just look good. An authority to tear down borders, make our finances as mobile as we are. Free to spend in 130 currencies worldwide at the real interbank exchange rate. Think sending unlimited amounts of money abroad with no fees.
With free worldwide travel insurance. Think seamlessly buying and selling cryptocurrency in seconds and earning cash back instantly in the fiat or cryptocurrency of your choice. Access to 24/7 concierge from your phone to book what you want when you need it.
For a truly borderless lifestyle. And all this in your pocket.
Demand more from your bank. Revolut Metal. Radically better.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Map number 2 is going to be Inferno. It's Hellraiser's choice, which means it's attempts for potential redemption in this best of 3, which gives us a third place victor?
Yes.
Our third place finisher in this event here.
There's $10,000 difference, so it's $15,000 for third and $5,000 for fourth.
Who doesn't like $10,000?
I like money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like your catchphrase, I think. You say that a lot.
I do, but there's a few things I have in life. One of them's Counter-Strike, and the other one's money. So I like both those things. I just try and keep my life simple.
Okay.
But life's not going to be so simple for Hellraisers because Smooth was on point with the AWP, Tabson was getting it done, and Nex is playing to that crazy level that we all know is possible.
Sure.
He's done it on a consistent basis in this tournament, so that's a problem for them. If we highlight a few of the things from the game yesterday from Big, some of the tendencies that were taken advantage from or of, that could be looked to be done the same by Hellraisers, but I don't think they have the same level of cohesion as an opponent like Liquid, so that's a bit of a problem.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the finals play out when we do get there with NRG going up against Liquid. We know Daps in the past, as recently as the last event that we were at ECS, has managed to dismantle them, and he certainly knows them well, knows Nitro especially well. Played with him the most amount of time, Elige a little bit as well. But yeah, this one's here and now, Chad, nearly called you Hank. And
you haven't done that yet.
Big with a
But
chance
does
to
that count?
potentially wrap this up. Sorry?
If you think that you almost
No,
called
because
me
I've caught
Henry.
myself every single time. So the over-under on that one is significantly under.
Your own safety net. They haven't knifed yet, so when they do knife, we'll get to see which sides we will be starting on for both of these teams. Obviously, for newer viewers out there, the CT side is preferential, but it's also very dependent on your utility usage and thus the economy. That's the story of Counter-Strike. Doesn't tend to change too much other than that. But look, let's just talk about a few of the things I noticed with Big. They give up banana control quite a lot, or at least they did yesterday versus Liquid. They were happy to use more of a defensive smoke, not the wall smoke. It was deeper than that. And they were happy to lure players into early B executes, which they had fantastic utility usage on the retakes. Also they had a couple of different setups going on over towards that quad side, all three members standing and delivering from that point. Players within apps, getting the double AWPs up as well. Smooyer and Tabson able to wield them. One of the things to note, when they do play that setup that is passive towards the top of Banana, Tabson is always ready at Speedway, or at least CT Arch, to rotate quickly. So those are little tendencies, those little things that you can look to exploit, or the holes, the gaps that you can hopefully find. So we'll see if Hellraisers have looked to those to get the better of Big in this one. We're still waiting to get underway here. Looks like the knife round is about to start any second.
Jinta looks very relaxed in that shot. He just looked very pleased to be there, very content, complacent.
Complacent?
Usually I see coaches looking very stressed before matches, but he looked, yeah, he just seemed fine.
How many
complacent
years?
is maybe not the right word, but he looked very satisfied.
How many years do you think coaching takes from your life?
How much use do you think that any of this does?
I don't know.
Anything of a high-level competition that creates a stress level and environment, certainly. I think coaching maybe more, depending on how invested you are. Zonic?
Yeah,
Valens?
You're not hands-on, right? Well, you are hands-on, but once the game's live,
you're out of your control.
You're watching.
And a lot of athletes say that that's the hardest part, when you're on the sidelines watching something you can no longer control. Particularly true in endurance racing, when a driver's done his stint and then he has to watch his teammate go and try not to unravel all their good work.
Big knife victory there from Big. Suppose they will be starting on the counter-terrorist side of things, as we see a little bit of a smirk don the face of Tizian. I'm sure someone said something along the lines of "Off geht's Junge."
I don't know what that means.
Just means let's go, and Junge in that was like dude, but Junge means boy, but it's kind of how you would use it colloquially. You've got Alta as well. That's another one.
Okay.
It's like dude.
I'm Professor Chad in the house. DJ Mathieu also in the room.
Well, he's more of a professor than all of us.
Is he?
Yeah.
Why is that?
He's got a degree in reading our brains.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. I forgot that. That's why I don't like hanging out with him, because he always tells me what's wrong with me. And there's nothing wrong with me because I'm perfect, obviously. So he's just wrong.
I don't know if I, like, we all obviously read people. That's just human nature. But imagine, like, knowing the tells. Wonder if that'd be good or bad.
Well, that's like gambling at its like finest, right? You get into like poker games, and they see like when you're bluffing based on like veins in your hand tensing up because you know you're lying, but you're trying to keep your face calm, and by keeping your face calm, you're dispelling all of that energy elsewhere in your body. Yeah, I watched Molly's Game. All right, I know a lot now.
You're an expert.
I'm an expert. One movie that's an adaptation of a true story, and not even someone who played the game, and I am an expert. That's the world of the internet, at least. That's how it works. If you know a little bit, you know everything.
I just read headlines. That's how I know everything.
That's the best way to educate yourself. I completely agree. Well, we're waiting for this to get live. The knife round obviously done. The teams are entitled to take a little bit of time to get ready, but I do see that we are about to start. So I don't think there was any tech issue. I think they just took some time to chat amongst themselves. And now we will begin. The coaches will go silent as soon as the freeze time is on, which is now.
This could be the final map of this series if Big continue that fantastic form. They had a massive lead yesterday against Liquid. They really imposed their will early. They crumbled. Very conservative with their buying approach within that second half, and that allowed Liquid's fundamentals to get them back into this one. So, as we're about to get underway here, we'll just have a quick look at the buy. On the CT side, God B has 2 flashes and a defuse kit. For Hellraisers, Dead Fox with a smoke flash HE, and the same for Angel. It's going to be a mid-push right now. Quick, fast, and sharp down they go. Well, they be ready for this one, as now they know the jig's up. They're turning around. A flash is going to come in to push them back, and he won't fall, but now they pounce, they appear, and they trade evenly.
Certainly do so far. However, this does mean that everyone subsides slightly and perhaps a bit timidly. To go back and get the bomb is one task the Hellraisers have at least achieved. They've got to head over toward B. That's where Gob plays, and it is his site. He's named after it. He'll stay toward the coffin. Smoke to CT. Second one late toward him. Let's get some shots off before it blooms, but now he's forced to back away. That should at least confirm the bomb plant. tries to do everything he can back inside of the smoke. No chances so far. Deadfox, great positioning, half wall. This taps and check it, pistol round. You got to think up close, but he doesn't think outside the box. It's taken down with a headshot from the Glock. Watch for Godby. Wants to get back to new box. Vaxic does find both. He's been very sharp this weekend. I've been impressed, considering he almost didn't have a passport to get here.
Seems to be his issue more often than not, doesn't it? The old passport situation, the visas. But in the server, once the frag hitting the board, he is one of the top fraggers for Hellraisers. Issa and Voxic are that duo. There's a lot of similarities between these teams and their structure. For the longest time, it was Tabson and Smooya being the star duo over there for Big, and Hellraisers, as I just mentioned. And with Next stepping up to this kind of form, that means Hobbit. He had a good game last time round, but he needs to appear for that third star. Aggressive but underplay with a force buy here. Hobbit is man in question, able to deliver early with the Mac 10.
Step back over toward Boiler. Surely he's got to make it the second time. He jumps up, gets in, but meanwhile we walk with Hobbit toward the B site. He's got a Mac 10 in hand, and he's going to use it. Ooh. Used though by a CZ, trying to push out. Thankfully, Deadfox slides in with the AK. That'll do. Gets down 2 and manages to take out both Tabson and Godby. Tizian falls to Angel. That opens up pretty much all access on all points at this point in time, because now Nex has to rotate over, expecting it to be B with the early push, and then bomb gets planted onto A. Poor old Hobbit. Tried to do everything that round and got nothing accomplished with the Mac 10. Just wanted more than the single kill to get his return on investment.
Yeah, he can invest in another Mac 10 here, though, because they know they have to full eco. After they saw the head armor come out, the upgraded pistols and the utility, he will actually opt to go for an AK-47.
He didn't buy it, though. It was thrown by Deadfox.
Ah, dropped across.
So that's just distributing the wealth.
There is a Mac 10 on the board. They finally got the weapons in the hands they wanted. Issa will be on that bad boy, so let's see how aggressive he can go in milking as much out of this big situation as possible.
Smooth, yep. Going to be playing the pillar to peak. We saw this similar stack yesterday from Big as well, and they actually yielded a kill from it. Against Liquid, it basically is positioned so that no one is revealed, and then as soon as one player makes contact, all three swing, and the person with the gun gets into an awkward position, as being overcommitted often does. But that said, they've gone to beat. It's a stack on A as a result of that position that we saw, and there 4 rounds pretty much concluded on its own. There's no investments for AK, so it's not the worst situation in the world, but knowing there's a Mac 10 on the board, they probably just want to just stay alive and not give money away.
Exactly. People at home may not realize this. It's better for them not to contest in this environment. They're still going to get the loss bonus from this if they die to Issa and allow him to farm up more and more cash, which is going to give Hellraisers a chance to buoy their economy. And there's one. It's going to be a struggle to chase more as the T's have to go back into their own side of the map.
I like what Hobbit's doing. He's not like hunting to give away an AK, because he knows likewise that if he gives up an AK to just pistols, that's a huge problem, but he just holds an angle and says, if they're down here, I'll find one eventually.
Yeah, playing to contain. That's what I like to see. When you go chasing in that fashion, there's so many corners to check.
Yeah. Again, Issa can do it with the Mac 10. Hobbit can't unless he has someone directly beside him to trade, because giving away an AK to not a single purchase was like, that's maximum disaster.
We'll see the buy coming in from Big now. The AWP immediately picked up by Smooya. 3 Orgs immediately follow Tizian, Nax, and Tabson. And Godby with the silenced M4. No defuse kits to note. Could be problematic if bomb site control is gunned by Hellraisers. But we have to wait and see if the best laid plans of Mice and Men go awry, as it is a 3-man banana approach to get control early. Using the utility a little bit more aggressively. I did speak about how they like to play it passively. This time around they're doing a little bit more posturing. Damage with the nades are done early. Angel's going to be dropped down to 70. Voxic 67 points of health, and they won't have an AWP to be the lead of their attack. So with this banana control early, it was punished yesterday by Liquid doing quite swift executes. And this time around they've thrown out utility quickly, and that's going to keep Smooya honest and make sure that a player stays in rotation and they can't read and cheat a player over to this A bomb site. It's a very passive setup from Big. They have no mid information at all. And as I say that, Tabson actually wants to get some, so I think he should be flashed in here. I don't think he'll peek dry. There's the flash comes in. It's a telegraphed one. It's not a pop. It's off the wall, so they know what's going down. Still able to grab mid control. No dramas there. And that should be the cue to rotate Godby back over. Now we do have 9 players over towards this A bomb side as they jump up towards quad side. The trade comes in. Oh no, the push.
Oh, it's so awkward in that situation, right? Next gets 1 with it, but the spray transfer is just so difficult. Tizia, meanwhile, makes up for it. He gets 2 on his side, and Godby gets another. Kakafui is very pleased that they actually held on for it, and that's going to give a 3-1 lead still to Hellraisers, but it's big with the round.
Yeah, I get you in that situation, right? If you had the M4, the quicker fire rate, maybe he would have had a second.
Yep.
But at the same time, we're just going to have to wait and see how it plays out. This is such a learning process for everybody right now, and they continue with these orgs. They obviously see it worth the extra 50. Here's another gun run from Hellraisers. They do have enough cash to get the AKs up. Still no AWP, so Voxy could be kept to just a rifle once more. And this time around it is a slower approach. They aren't contesting over towards Banana. More than happy just to allow Big to play their more passive style. And this is cool. They know that they can go towards A and have a 5v3 duel this early in the round. But they're very hesitant, surprisingly.
Smokes down both on quad, and Arch gives them the mid wall, but they can't advance. That nade's gonna, okay, actually kill off Dead Fox. Thought it bounced a little far, but caught him. Secondary man back next. Spots 1 on the AUG, doesn't want to overcommit to it. Has a secondary AUG inside of the pit, and Godby rotating over with the faster firing A1S. It's the Roadster version of the M4.
I like the approach. Oh, hold on a second.
That's actually kind of cool to see it from the AUG's perspective of that. Scoped in, his teammate gets out of the way. AUG gets the kill.
This round is going to be very difficult for Voxy to get back into. If they can isolate Jules, fantastic. But the problem is, I like the approach. I like the idea that they were going to go quick up mid, but they hesitated. It felt like that everybody wasn't on the same page. Could have given themselves a 5v3 situation on this A-bomb side. Oh, jumping at the wrong time. Tabson almost gets taken out. Flash will come in. He 3 picks on 4 points of health. He's able to get 1, but now he's left in a 1 on 5. 23 seconds left. Isn't able to get it done. Next, more than happy to stand in his face and fight. And will actually change over to the AK-47. So still the preferential rifle. Buying again. Voxic has the AK, but no head armor, only Kev. Hobbit, AK, head armor, no utility. So it's questionable. Voxy will upgrade to the armor. I guess he got dropped that AK. But regardless, this isn't a fantastic buy from Hellraisers.
It's not a lot to work with, certainly, but that's what Big kind of want, right? Break them down, get the CT side rolling, get the economy in their favor. Angel gets to the half wall. So banana control given away at this point in time.
They know they can do this, though, right? They should have watched the game yesterday. But Liquid were getting banana control quite easily, and from there you can execute. I'm surprised Hellraisers haven't gone for that early. Because Smooya is not the rotator. He's the anchor right now. They have him as the guy staying side. He's going to push out very aggressively behind a Molotov, and he's going to get dropped. An information play that goes all wrong, and now Godby has to stand and deliver against 3. Smoke's going to come in, Molotov to follow. At this point, he doesn't even get a chance to find a kill because they've gone past. Running through the smoke was Voxic. He is playing very loose.
Very, very loose. Godby gets him, punishes him for it. You can see Tabson was waiting for more information for that nade as soon as he realized his teammate got a kill. He thought they might be, and he threw it. But Angel gets Godby back. Angel's not only going to find that one, I thought for sure he would secure a second with a jumping X. Tagged to 5 HP, bomb denied. Tabson pushes in, knows the smoke protects him from both Emo and Nubox. Good chance he can at least get there before anyone gets a shot from Banana. As it's now a 2 on 3, and Issa trying to claim Max, spots a gun barrel, good headshot, tries to preemptively spray through as well, but he's lost Hobbit. Gotta get the bomb. Molotov down, 27 seconds, he can avoid that. He can actually run, he can make it. From here, he can absolutely make it.
Oh, they're not going to expect this. He gets a chance for a free plant, and he can reposition. Look at this, there's still 10 seconds left on the clock. It only takes 4 to get that bomb down, roughly. So he can plant for free. He's actually being quite cautious considering. We'll go for the default plant. Less options to be creative now. Still has a chance to completely juke and avoid them, and Nex's HP is an issue. And the buddy system, with that approach, normally you'd want to see Nex going in first, baiting out the kill so Tizian can finish him off. If they spread on out, or Ace is able to isolate a duel and find a 1v1, this round is more than doable. Only 1 kid as well, Matt, and that's in the hands of Tizian. That's a problem.
Yes, has got it lined up. They've got to surely expect the squad, but they want to check the pit because very often, players are there. He's got the control. Tizian's off. Fitz sprays in. Tizian can't find the kill. Great recovery. Got there with the bomb, ran it all the way back towards A. And a 1-on-2 that really didn't favor much other than that escape plan. If he stayed in B, they had him completely cordoned off.
Great awareness in a pressure environment with the clock ticking down, right? To know that you have enough time to rotate back and plant in that situation. Fantastic play there from Issa. I'm curious, though, how it even got to that. With the bomb being planted, nobody covering coffins, nobody even holding on to that position at all. I know there was a smoke on the ground, but the fact that that isn't communicated, the fact that there wasn't really that much pressure on them to get the bomb down in that moment allowed Big to make that round more than interesting. And now next with aggression, isn't going to be able to get the kill. Issa will get the better of him, but now pushing out window, trying to find the damage. Tabson, he will fall as well. And this is just a save round from Big, so we will be expecting this to go up to 5 for Hellraisers. They had a good start on the first map, but then Big took control. They got back into it, and they really dictated the pace off of some interesting force buys from Hellraisers. So let's see if we have a similar scene on map number 2, keeping in mind this is HR's pick.
Yeah, this is absolutely their pick. So for them to go up 5-2 on a T side certainly resembles Y. Hobbit taking not a full peek, but a quick peek up toward the stairs. Didn't go all the way around the corner. See if anyone's at least aggressive. No one is so far, and perhaps he's called off in the fact that they want to go back over toward B. That's due to Voxic's position. He's got a deagle, but he's in behind, and that's a kill. A knife, perhaps, even? Yep. Oh, yeah, okay. He started the turnaround. That's always the most awkward thing, but he committed to it. He jumped, lunged, and stuck it directly into the spine, so that means we're down to just Smooya remaining as a kill came in ensuing, and then bomb planted 5-2, and money gained. Not too bad.
Smooya doesn't have a kill yet.
That's astonishing, isn't it? Early, I said, wow, we're 7 rounds in. You'd think by now money would have favored him at least once to be in a good position. And it has.
We can get the AWP again in the following round. This round they're going to have to take another save or another pistol upgrade. So far I can see 3 CZs at P250. A sporadic amount of utility, 3 grenades. So that means they might have someone that they want to throw these. Either just the classic down mid and banana play, or maybe something a little bit more tactical. It is actually 5 grenades. So they want to do damage. They want to whittle down the hit points of Hellraisers with the high explosives. And they will be able to do a lot of damage onto Voxic. They have 3 left. They have 3 HEs left.
I hate that. Hits the shut. That's so annoying.
The shoulder of a teammate?
No, it hit the shutter.
Ah.
He wanted to bounce it to sandbags, and then they could at least wrap to barrels, but they've actually just locked themselves out because it hit the shutters, which I get textures and making things pretty, but don't give them collisions that necessarily affect the games. I mean, I guess maybe you're supposed to know like a flat wall is a flat wall in real life, but at this level, when things are so crucial, it's a bit of an annoyance.
They put a lot of emphasis on using those nades late, and that contact from Hellraisers really negated it because there wasn't tell. Normally in that situation, you'd expect utility to come in and then you would throw your grenade as a trigger, but because they went a contact play instead, you could see Gobby, he wasn't so ready for that situation, and then Smooya, he panic naded. That's why it didn't really land in any way that could do damage. So now this one should be over. That's 6 very early for Hellraisers. Surprising that it's happening in this fashion. You know, we know that Big did crumble on their CT side yesterday against Liquid. That's where they had their problems. Their T side was... No, actually, it was their CT side. They were able to get 10 rounds. Liquid were only able to grab 5. So right now, they can't even get as many rounds as they got yesterday against Liquid. So they need to turn it on right here, right now, and get back into this, or Hellraisers could be taking this to a 3rd, which will be overpass.
Yeah, overpass would be interesting as well. Big obviously picked that yesterday, and Liquid had never won on LAN on that map, yet managed to pull it off against them, so that's a bit of a stinging blow. Molotov this time will clear barrels early as they get toward the bottom side of Banana. Keep in mind that Voxic wants to try and clear, and, well, Tamsin has other ideas with the AUG holding backs from the quad side. You called that diggity in Australia, didn't you?
Yeah, there's a player called Diggity who had a really big play from there.
Well, no diggity. Angel's got the shot on Smooya. Goppy goes back. Oh, he nearly got both headshot onto Dead Fox as well. That would have been remarkable. 2-on-2, but it certainly favors them more so because Hobbit's gone. Dead Fox has it all to do. He's got the B site for free, so easy plant. He's going to put it immediately in the open as well, which Means he can play it from many different angles, less from ruins. Wants to get to tree. Oh, he's going to go aggressive. 5 HP, he's going to peek. Spotted, gets the first, can get away, gets to tree, but now he's got to run. Surely Nex checks it. Knows he's got to get in that corner. And the flash almost cost Nex as it bounced out, but both got blinded.
The problem there is how much damage was done to the economy right now. Big. They get the round. Great. But now they need to scrap together a buy. Hellraisers have no economic woes at all. Come out of this fine, even though they were unable to grab it. What does that say? Something chicken? On the cup, on the right.
Singing chicken.
Oh.
Singing chicken, and then I can't read 8-bit beyond that.
So people with those monitors you see in the background, that's called a CRT.
That is a CRT. Chromatic something. What does it mean again? I can't even remember.
I'm not sure, but I know
Oh,
that
chrono ray tube. That's what it is. What am I saying?
They were
Nothing to
real
do with
good.
Chromatic at all.
They were really good. Because if you used to punch your CRT when you got mad, you couldn't break it. I punch my monitor now and I snap the stand.
Yep. Just don't punch your monitor and you won't break anything, Chad.
Counter-Strike is a rage-inducing game.
I wouldn't know. I only play Final Fantasy II over and over again.
On the Sega Mega Drive.
No, it was Super Nintendo.
Ah. All right, here we go. If they can steady the ship, if Big can build an economy, if they can make sure that Hellraisers aren't competitive in this one, that's them on track to having a respectable half. But right now it appears to be a pace change from Hellraisers getting Boiler and Halls control relatively quickly. Here looks like they got a posture for in A execute. This is this quad setup we were talking about. 3 men over there. A pop flash is going to come in and they're straight on out, dropping Towson very early. I like this approach. Tizian has a lot of work to do.
Good counter smoke to extinguish the Molotov, give himself position inside of the small pit. It was revealed where he threw it from, so he's going to try and move, transition, get away, get through, but Voxic catches him out. That could have been very, very clever, getting around behind them, potentially to find the kills.
Save. Already.
Yeah, well, bomb down. Voxic with yet another. Smooya is 007.
Ooh. You don't love to see it. But to be fair, over towards that B bomb side, if you are
Cathode raid tube, that's what it was.
What?
Cathode raid tube. Couldn't remember what the C was.
If you're having to rotate over so often and retake the bomb site, it's difficult to get in, especially being the B anchor. So for Smooya, every time they go away, for him to get back into that bomb site, it's not easy. Here, oh no. He's not even able to grab what should have been a freebie. They dropped them all with the chase, and that really stings. A hard reset in the middle of the half. This is one of the worst places a CT side can ever find themselves in. Because right now you're still in that state of limbo. Do we force buy? Do we contest for rounds? Do we take a save here, give ourselves a couple of good gun rounds to see out the half? These are the questions that the team needs to be discussing right now. And the opt to go for the eco. Not really upgrading a lot of things, just P250 and the CZ, Smooya and Nex holding onto those, everybody else with USPs. So the 5 rifle approach from Hellraisers, the change of pace, working wonders early. This should just be another quick round, so maybe we can talk about something fun. What are you going to do when you come back to Malta next time?
Mountain bike the entire island.
Okay.
Start one place, go all the way around, get the Gozo ferry, rip out the Gozo, mountain bike Gozo, back across the ferry, back down the South Shore.
So you haven't really thought about it?
Yeah, I'm going to bring the Kona process over when I get it. It's in the mail. Should be in Canada, I think next week. I've got like, I think one of the first models hitting the East Coast, so that's pretty cool.
All right.
The West Coast, I think, already has them because BC and biking is, yeah. But yeah, I'm going to mountain bike it all, and I'm going to do some crazy cliff diving and stuff.
I wouldn't mind going scuba diving. I know James Bardoff's into all that kind of jazz.
Yep, I would totally scuba dive, I just don't know how.
Yeah, I got no idea. I guess you could do a pretty easy course. It shouldn't be the hardest thing in the world.
Probably have them here.
Yeah, definitely. Will there be wrecks off the coast around here?
Yep. Be pretty sweet.
So
it's really cool. I've been in Blue Grotto twice, once for sunset, once for sunrise. I wanted to go to St. Peter's Pool this morning. Didn't quite get there, but maybe tomorrow. So they run through the smoke with their pistols, as we say. The fact that there's really no chance for Big in this round. They know they're up against AK, so it's not like they're farming out cash to SMGs. They run in, and we go 8-3 in favor of Hellraisers. Inferno looking very, very sharp so far from their perspective.
Yeah, these are one of those gimmies, ladies and gentlemen. There's reasons that You don't want to hype those bad boys up. Unless there's some crazy unique approach coming out, it's pretty much business as usual. And that's what we saw. And once again, they have to take another save. They've opted for a couple of grenades again, but so far they haven't had too much success. A team we normally praise for fantastic utility usage haven't really had a chance to get stuck in on the gun rounds. I just want to go to Blue Lagoon, because when I was here last time...
Yeah, totally. I think even like the Camino Island would be fun for mountain biking. There's probably like just like really short technical descents.
Well, it might be a bit of a milk right here, as popping on out of the mini pit will be Issa. He's going to find 2, and I thought the rest would have barreled on down just to finish this round quickly, but 9 on the board.
Did you not get there last time?
I didn't get a chance to... Like, I went up where it was, but the weather wasn't nice enough to go for a swim and spend the whole day in the sun kind of thing.
Right. Well, next time it is then.
Yeah. I didn't think I'd be back twice in a year, but...
Oh, I'll come back again.
Alrighty, now this is the chance. This is where Big have to stand up. Otherwise, this is going to slip away from them in a very quick fashion. Train, they started slow. They got stuck back in. They had a fantastic T-half. The CT half was absolute domination. Next stood up. He went beast mode with 30-plus frags. Right now, still leading the way. Smooya yet to get a kill. It's hard to get into these games mentally here. You feel that everything you do is wrong, your timing is off, but as long as you're playing your role and you're part of the team, hopefully they can get rounds on the board, and Goblin is going to fall now. Tabson's lucky to find one in exchange. He's going to rotate straight over towards that B bomb site, and Smooya's going to get aggressive. Hobbit has a chance to make a play out of Halls here. If he checks out, Tizian will fall, and ducking under the shot will be Tizian, and the close range of the AUG will find the kill. So look at this position from Smooya here. This should be a gimme, especially if Thompson's baiting him with the AWP. He's going to re-peek. Going to head over towards A, and everything's kind of just falling apart as the spread pick. A little more aggressive approach from Hellraisers. Didn't have the effect that they were hoping for.
Next, trying to fire back through the smoke. Dead Fox, the only one remaining for Big to find their 4th round, and they will. Tabson hits the shot on the AWP. Note that it's in his hands and not that of Smooya, who is yet to find a frag in this game. It's look, it happens to everyone at sometimes. I remember KGB going 0-15 on Dust 2 and then them coming back to win in the second half in a grand final at PGL years ago. I remember lots of players doing it. Taz has done it before. Pash has done it before. Every now and then you just find yourself in one of those games. So Tabson will stay in the AWP as a result. Smooya's going to go on the AK that's carried over, and next is going to nade in Molotov, rather, excuse me, Incendiary. Down toward mid, they're going to throw a likewise nade at the C stairs. Smooya, he's on, he's got one, call him out. We call him, and then he gets it. He's got a second, and now he's in the game. 2 in the round, looking to try and one-tap another. He's stuck forward to the wall, however, which means he's got to go back around that, and Issa's aware. Did what he could to put a smoke down and keep himself alive, but Issa was always going to run that down.
Mid-round so far have felt, at least when they've been on even terms, that it's been favoring Hellraisers. They have enough utility to go for any kind of mid-round move that they want. A lot of time left on the clock. A lot of map control as well. It's aggressive solo. It's going to put Tabson back off the line. He has a lot of pressure. And look at Issa go, just storming into the bomb site, getting the kill and cracking it open. And question marks come in now because going for this, we'll see another reset for Big unless they're able to grab the victory. The economy is going to be hampered regardless. Peeking over the top of the box. There's Issa again. Off the leash, off the hook. Putting Hellraisers up to 10 because Tizian has a 1-on-3 that he thinks it's better of, and he's going to fall back into the hands of Hobbit, who will gladly get that kill. At this rate, Matt, it feels like we're going to be going 3. Going the distance here in the 3rd place decider. Supernova Malta. Yikes.
Yeah, 1 to go in the rounds. And no guns. This is Hellraisers have had every economic advantage they could possibly get. Every time that Big get a chance to get back in, nope, shut down. You said it, overpass is next. I bring that up again because it's possible we need it. It's possible that we get there. So, Angel looking to try and find a shot toward the top side of mid. Toxic already gone by the nade, which was thrown. It scratches his back, which is something we should all do to our friends every now and then. 1 HP. That's all he lost.
Negligible.
Pull him down bottom side of mid. They're going to just try and make contact on B at this point in time. Voxic to lead it. Smoke CT. If they go on this, they're going to have to rotate a player off B, or excuse me, off A to grab the bomb on the way by, which I think that's going to likely be a Hobbit, just suggesting by his movement. That or Angel, who decides to go back down now. They aren't going to commit to the single smoke thus far. Countered off by Smooya. They'll just wait it out.
never really pegged Hellraisers as a team who were hugely proficient on a map like Inferno, especially the T side, just because of all the mid-round decision-making that has to come in. A map like Overpass, where once you take a point and it's a little bit more structured from there, I thought, you know, cool, because they've done a lot of their homework. They talk through all of the moves and options. Whereas a map like this, it does become a lot more chaotic, and I guess both maps do play slow. There are similarities in certain regards, but picking out, Nisa will drop. The hero of last round falls to Nex. He's going to be the A play. 30 seconds left on the clock. 1 in apps, 3 towards quad. Utility now being dispensed. Dead Fox leading the charge. The flashes will come in and they peek together.
Dead Fox tries to find one, get caught out looking toward the pit and couldn't respond fast enough, but Angel and Hobbit certainly do, and Angel doubles up to find Nex. Smooya's got the only rifle left in the round thus far. I said thus far, guns available if he finds another, or even would have been reachable, attainable for God B, who's well removed from the round, down at the bottom side of mid. Now wrapping in this direction. He'll close the gap, but Voxic knows that that's a possibility and positions accordingly. Sees the shoulder, and with a single click, manages to give the 11th round to Hellraisers. Great opening half on the attacking side of Inferno.
Oof. All right. Well, this isn't how I expected it to play out. I thought Big would be a lot more competitive after what happened yesterday against Liquid. A telling sign here. You mentioned it before. We've talked about it throughout. But the pressure applied to the economy throughout the entirety of that half, win around, reset, win around, reset. It's a horrible place to be on the CT side. They're still having a good time, still got the smiles. Lots of clapping, God B, with lots of words to say. Know that they're never out of it. Get the pistol, convert a couple. Put Hellraisers in a very similar position that they just found themselves in, and you got yourself a game. And everyone's giggling. Both teams are having fun. That's what we like to see. Everybody smiles in the same language, Matthew.
I like that. That's kind of romantic and endearing in a way. And who doesn't need positivity in their lives?
All
Try
right.
and test positive on all my tests.
All right. We're getting underway here in the second half of the second map. Utility in the hands of Tizian and Godby seems to be the standard support players. Dead Fox doing the same for his squad. Aggressive Banana posturing right now as Smooth is going to call what's on out. Flush will come in to allow him to pick and force back to CTs, and that will happen. So the ground that they thought they had, definitely not as easy as it should have been. They will find the kill regardless. At Next has gone for an aggression play over towards A. So we're sitting at a 4v4. The bomb is already ready to hit this A bomb site through apps, and that appears where they want to go. Utility now will come on out. Molotov to follow. Issa with a massive shot onto Next, going to stop the push. Flash will come in, only partially blinds him up, and the rotation is coming on in, so danger is not really there. Even if he falls, the rest of the team should be able to clean it up. As I say that, though,
Tabson. Suddenly the only one left. Dead Fox with the kill back has to get the bomb, and great play from Dead Fox sliding out behind the box. Hobbit was well positioned, I think, to trade off of that inside of the stairs of the graveyard. So we go 12-4. Hellraisers with the second pistol as well.
pack it up, Matt. This one's done.
Yeah, they could win this as early as round 20 at this point in time.
Nothing wrong with a quick game. My mother would always say a quick game's a good game. I never really understood that, especially if you're on the losing side of things. But all in all, looks like they're going for the conservative approach. There will be nothing purchased, nothing ventured, and presumably nothing gained. So this will be one of those mop rounds here as the MP9s are hopefully going to find themselves some frags. Voxic should at least get one. Schmap goes the trap.
Angel and Issa, each with kills. Yeah, the trap is definitely closed down on their ankles. Gabi gets one in return. Fair play to him. He's done his all. But all is done, and it's 13-4. So we're still on course for that 20-round finish in this for Hellraisers. Smooya has 2 kills, so therefore it's still just 1 round that he's killed in. And we'll see if that can change now that some guns are brought to the fold. They'll have 5 AK-47s, utility to work with for Big. On the opposing side, you've got Dead Fox still wielding the MP9, as with Hobbit doing the same. 13 kills leads the way for Big on the hands of Nex. It's not far off that of everyone else in the server. The problem is the fall off on the bottom. Gabi, Tizzy, and Smooya combining for just 13 themselves. And then on the other side of it, you've got 23 for Issa. He's just absolutely dominating in this game so far. Dead Fox gets out behind the sandbags. He'll hang out in that position for a little bit of time as Godby. Gap in the smoke, wants to consider going through it. Second smoke down, will go deep and cover that off. Molotov also, he heard it forward, means he can't push through. Dead Fox will do the same in return and get down toward the tree position. That deep smoke's actually perfect, just the arch covered off, so you can still see inside of the corners when he gets there. There's no one obscured slightly to catch him off. Early damage favors Hellraisers as well. Smoothie's on 42. Thompson's on 59.
You can see him looking at the radar there. Hoping they'll pop up on his screen straight on in. Angel not firing straight away. We'll get the kill eventually. Now up close and personal and Banana was the MP9 of Dead Fox.
Angel would have been saying to his teammate, why are you peeking from arch? I'm right here. Don't. Go back. Don't die, because then I have to kill him, and then I give him away my position. Hobbits finds one at range. Big range with that MP9 to find Godby. So he has got to go get the bomb, and 3-on-3. He's going to try and take this back over to his teammates, who are now accumulating around Boiler. 29 seconds. If they're going to go B, they're going to go now, and I think that's going to be the call. Less to check, more to overrun, right?
Should
you can get it in with 2 smokes, run it in, and get the bomb down.
Hobbit's playing for the retake, though, in his position. He has a flash, which means he's going to swing and try and disrupt as utility comes on in. And it was perfect timing from him. He's done more than enough there. 1 kill, delayed the clock. We'll get the bomb. Oh, no, Smooya! Does he have... He's just got
barely
time.
got it, but he's going to go down immediately. I don't know, at that point, what the
He barely
thought
changed the
process
position of the
is.
plant, didn't he?
Like, what angle does that change? Just slightly from when they enter from CT? Gets him a little bit further around the corner, but it almost costs him, and it effectively didn't have a gun ready for when they pushed through anyway. He was always going to go down, but he's given Nex a bit of a chance. By pulling it tighter, though, it's actually a harder plant for him. Maybe that's why. Maybe he wants to hide the fact that he's out toward Banana, rather than making it all too obvious. The problem is exactly this. Voxic can play beside the barrels and get inside of the smoke. He's tripped on the wall. He couldn't get through it, but Voxic's off.
He should have time for
He's got the kit. He picked up a kit.
Oh, it's going to be close.
That's so close, but I think he's just barely got it, and it will be 14-4. I think the only reason to switch that is to maybe to mask the fact that he's out toward Banana, because he's low HP.
Doing that with 8 seconds left on the clock, boy, oh boy, you're cutting it fine. Someone to push, because Nex couldn't cover. You could see Nex's position. He was just chilling in Banana. So
the knife would have worked as well, but I think if we... this is a bit of an ask for production because it's not something you normally want. If we had a replay of like the X-ray in the smoke from a bird's eye view, I think he actually caught himself on the edge of the wall and couldn't get up there.
Yeah, it did look like it. The smoke can often be your friend or your enemy. On that occasion, it was the enemy. The plant will allow them to get some AKs up on the board here, and Voxic wants to give away jewels. He's more than happy to play this like a shooting gallery, just continuing to barrel and shoot down mid. Looks like we will be going to the third here, unless a miracle happens from Big.
Angel with a good shot to Tabson. Yeah, Big's going to need a big comeback. Oh, God, I'm clever. It's, he's got Nex down. He's going to hold strong, or is he? Tizian actually gets the aim on him faster in return. Tizian's 7th kill only. Issa would have been on for 25 had he landed that. Tizian's not done there. He goes back out to quad, but Angel with an AWP quickly finds his position, and Godby's running to B. Chance he could win this, 100 HP.
We've seen this before,
Lots of
haven't we?
time. Yeah, we saw it in reverse in the last half, did we not?
Godby gets a chance to reposition, but he can't make noise. They're already on the scene, right? So if he makes too many footsteps here, they're going to be ready and raring to take him down. Ooh, sneaks across to construction here. This is more than doable with the HP of Angel. However, they're letting him lead on in first, so the trade from Dead Fox is possible. Godby will spam. He won't get the kill. And Hellraisers now are going to find themselves up to 15 rounds. One away from taking us to map number 3 here. This one's been very quick. The pace of this game has been blistering.
Yeah, this has been a very fast game. Inferno tends to offer that as of late. Again, Overpass is our slowest map by default, and that comes up next. But this was, there it is. That's the replay of it from the other perspective. I think he did just kind of clip the wall. He might have gotten around it, but either way, we now sit on map point Hellraisers and a chance to get us to 3. I think that one's almost a foregone conclusion. Rounds to Big at this point might just be delaying the inevitable.
Never give up, never surrender.
Made as much damage as it might have intended to. I guess all intentions are for max damage, if you want to look at it that way, but it certainly looked like it was going to bounce and find the feet of either Dead Fox or Hobbit. Back inside of the site they'll go. Smoothie's down already. Big a man out of it. And that's all to play for. They'll pull it back. Tizian finds Voxic getting aggressive as always. You said it in this series. He's looked very aggressive.
Yeah, it appears to be a different approach right now. Like you can see, last round Angel was doing the opping and Voxic was just using AK-47 down mid. So the looser approach, harder to read, harder for Big to look into. And mouse wheel on the shot there. Angel will find the kill. At this point, it has to be A, and I think he's just going to mop them up here.
Nearly does. Gets 2 more at least, adding to his totals. And should we end now? And will end now. That's going to put him, I believe, on 26. Okay, I was going to guess 27, but 2 more in that round for him. And it's Hellraisers with a win. That's going to put us on for Overpass. Dominant win as well, by the way.
Yeah, and this is where it gets a little bit curious, because if you looked at the Overpass game yesterday, Big were the favorites against Liquid.
Yep.
They didn't start very well. They battled back into it.
It was the CT side that was a huge problem for them there as well. And it was on this map. They didn't get a single T-sided round, and they gave up 10 on their defensive campaign.
They definitely have more of a unique approach, right? They're not playing by the normal realms. They do things a little bit differently across the board, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. That's just the nature of Counter-Strike. But going the distance now, we're getting all the maps in the third place decider. You wouldn't want it any other way.
No, not at all. Look, more maps the better here in Malta, because it's been a splendid time and a great tournament. And we've got a third place decider that is going to go into 3 maps, 3 for 3.
So the magic number.
Not really. I don't think 3's ever been anyone's magic number.
Third time's the charm.
Certainly not Daniel Ricciardo's magic number.
But third time's the charm.
That's true. You got me there. In fact, you've got me throwing it over to the panel.
3 panelists.
All good things come in threes as well, guys, as we look at the 3 men of us on the desk to enjoy breaking down this one. That was a very different style coming out. And one thing, we spoke about it in the pregame, right? Issa not being kind of the key frag of the man to look to for Hellraisers. Well, here and now, he came alive, he stepped up, and he just seemed like he wasn't missing anything.
Yeah, Issa really was the man of the hour for this map, and I think his impact was throughout the whole game. More importantly, that 6th round, 3-2 for Hellraisers. Issa clutching the 1v2, completely sent, Big in a eco spiral. They had no money. I think the next time they bought was when it was 6-2. So Issa had impact early on and throughout the whole game. And yes, you could see that is a good example of what he can bring to the table when he's on fire. He's one of these really impactful rifler. You would wish it happened more often, but he really took control over this game.
Yeah, full control, really, from Hellraisers from start to finish here. And it was just more like, I certainly think that Hellraisers understood exactly what Big were going to go try and do, right? They had the demos to look back on. We saw a similar style from Big, especially even with how they were just approaching their holds and their positioning here. So for once, actually, I felt like Big was a bit too predictable.
Sure, look, they're a team that like to go into that with a prep-heavy kind of onset, and that's exactly what Hellraisers did against them. They saw what was working against Liquid. We said this, that Inferno was a weird pick. Statistics, just looking at that, you're seeing that Hellraisers are a stronger team there. One thing that you mentioned, of course, Maniac, was that perhaps Hellraisers are going to be playing a little bit differently because they have got Hobbit there, so you can't necessarily read into those past 3 months statistics too heavily. Certainly a map that they're feeling, and they felt that they knew what Big did right and how they could make them do it wrong, and that's exactly what comes through. Overpass being the mid-ground now, going to be interesting.
Yeah, I think Chad mentioned something really interesting at the casting desk, that the game was fast-paced. And it looked to me like Hellraisers really had an idea. They had an A-plan. They knew what they wanted to do. And more often than not, they caught Big off guard, which is surprising to me because I don't consider Big to be a team that you can get, catch off guard so easily. But so many times you could see that Hellraisers were playing extremely fast, notably on that A side, and catch Big being 3 people on B, completely off guard, 2 people on A dies, that's it, round is over. And that would happen on, and it's very surprising. And I didn't see that Hellraisers' performance come in, but I mean, congratulations to them, I guess, that we're going to the 3rd map.
And this gives them a big boost, right? Because it was a confident victory. They now move into Overpass, and Overpass is a map that both teams will quite happily play when it comes to this. And I'm now feeling like, okay, we need to see Smoothie back on it, back stepping up, because, my God, you cannot go 007 on a map to start off with, right? I know he's British. I know he wants to rock some little James Bond in there somewhere, but that's not the way you want to get it done, mate. That is not what we need to see. For someone who can have so much impact for the team, this was lacking on a map like Inferno. Now, normally I'd say T-side, Orb, Inferno, okay, I can give him a break on that. But this was on the CT side, and it was just, this is not what you need. whatever Gob says to him, whatever Kakafu and the guys from the rest of the team say, needs to be something that inspires Smooya to really turn things around for this third game.
Sure, and we talked about Smooya being an emotional player, right? So turning them around might not be so easy, but taking a look at Overpass, right? If we come at that with the same logic as we did looking at Inferno, we've seen what they're able to do with the likes of Hobbit on board, and it hasn't really been a convincing play for them, right? However, that was up against Energy. You know, that 16-4 does seem very convincing, and indeed it was, but Energy are a very strong team on Overpass. We've talked about that a lot. So coming into this matchup, I think it's a little bit of an unknown ground for how Hellraisers are going to perform here. But based on that performance, it's like you said, James, that momentum is just going to be flying through for these guys. You imagine, I mean, Issa was struggling in a couple of games.
Yeah.
No, struggling, maybe not the right thing to say, but struggling compared to what he usually puts on the board. Right there, that man's going to be on fire starting off the next map. So Big are going to need to start it off convincingly, I think, to shut down that momentum.
Yeah, that's what it's going to be, right? The confidence play needs to come out from Big here, because this, to me, is, if Big were going to win this, it would be a 2-0. Now we're in the 50-50 region, I feel, because we're still not fully sure what Hellraisers can do on a map like this. We've seen them, obviously, but they played against an NRG, right, who it's arguably one of their best maps, if not they're one of the best teams in the world on Overpass. Yeah. And now we're going to see them against Big, who will confidently play it, happily to pick into it. But there's a much unknown quantity here from Hellraisers, which I think is going to be, I don't know. I have no idea where this one could go now.
No, that's the thing, right? It feels like a mystery to me. Sure, that 16-4, I mean that 4-16 against NRG, you have to take it with some, some distance, because this is NRG. But when we talk about the mental aspect of Big, I think this is when profiles like Gobi, for example, have a lot of importance, right? He has the experience. He's been there for years and years, even on 1.6, one of the best in-game leader out there. And this is exactly in that type of moments that you need someone step up and say, guys, you know what? It's okay. Yes, we failed. Inferno was a failure on Big side. That was their pick. They didn't show up at all. They got blown out of the map. But that happens. That's part of Counter-Strike. That's part of being a player. Sometimes it's a miss, and there is maybe no explanation for it. We talked about that Isa clutch sending Big in an eco situation all the time. Sometimes it's small details, but it's important for Big now to just reset and focus on Overpass, because they can play the map definitely, and Hellraisers are by no means a bad team on Overpass. Yeah. So if Big, if they spiral down thinking about Inferno, Hellraisers could run away with it.
I think, right, the graphic just disappeared, but we were talking about NRG being one of the strongest teams in the world there on Overpass.
Yeah.
Well, the 16-4 that the NRG managed to claim up against Hellraisers, you look at Big's result very recently as well, 16-8, they took NRG down. So that is one thing that I think will help them coming in. Obviously, that mathematics doesn't quite hold us. Right. But what I'm saying is they've had recent convincing victories on this map against teams they know are good on this map. Let's not talk about, well, they beat Hellraisers and they beat them.
No, I agree with the point.
But the point is, Gobi, we were already talking about he'll be able to pick that team back up. And then you look at this, the fact that they have that good history on this map and go, look, right, Inferno, they looked at the demo. It was something we talked about. They know what was working for them up against Liquid. So they had them figured out. But do they have the same prepared for Overpass? Now, it is a map that we pretty much expected to come out between these two teams. It is the middle ground. So if Hellraisers were expecting a third map, it's probably Overpass that they've prepared for. But do they have it to the same extent here to combat Big's abilities?
We'll soon find out, guys. This is it. This is what it comes down to. It's the final map. It's a best of 3, and it's going to go right to the wire, no doubt. Unless we see a crazy... Literally, it's just a whole speculation point now. Exactly. We'll have to see how it goes. But one thing you guys at home should not forget about is our T-shirt giveaway for the Supernova Malta. It's a signed shirt that's going to be done by all of us talent and the players here. So if you want to win that, type ! giveaway in chat now. Make sure you get entered into it. We're getting to the final map now. It's Overpass, and Hellraisers, can they burn Big alive, or will the big boys come up big on a map that they have done so in the past? There's so much to play for here, not just the money, but the pride as well, and we're going right to the wire. Stick with us, we're gonna go to a quick break, and when we're back, it'll be time for all the action.
Sie haben eine Big Box bestellt.
Frati, wer war das?
Das war irgend so ein hässlicher Typ, Mann. Riesengroß war der auch.
Hässlicher Typ? Ich mag keine hässlichen Typen.
Ich auch nicht, ey.
Was ist denn das?
Ich glaube, das ist so eine Big Box bei runtime.gg. Vielleicht sollten wir das Unboxing-Video machen.
Nee.
Lieber nicht, ne?
Banks have failed to move with the times, but we don't need them. Back in 11th century Italy, merchants from all over would exchange their different currencies for trade outdoors on benches, which is where we get the word bank from, banca. They started as a way of making our lives easier. Unfortunately, this all changed. As the bank profits grew bigger, customer experience was lost in a maze of paperwork and bureaucracy. They invented new and complicated ways of growing their margins, built on hidden fees and taking liberties with their customers' money. But there's a solution. Revolut Metal, a stainless steel card that does more than just look good. An authority to tear down borders, make our finances as mobile as we are. Free to spend in 130 currencies worldwide at the real interbank exchange rate. Think sending unlimited amounts of money abroad with no fees.
With free worldwide travel insurance. Think seamlessly buying and selling cryptocurrency in seconds and earning cash back instantly in the fiat or cryptocurrency of your choice. Access to 24/7 concierge from your phone to book what you want when you need it.
For a truly borderless lifestyle.
And all this in your pocket. Demand more from your bank. Revolut Metal. Radically better.
Place your bets at gg.bet. Most popular esports titles. Deposit with convenient payment options. Cool mini games. And 24/7 support for players. Sign up now for the best esports bets at gg.bet.
Welcome back to our third place decider match. It's between Hellraisers and Big, and it is between Hellraisers and Big on map 3, which means all to play for.
Yeah, and $10,000 on the line. 15,000 for third, 5 for fourth, so $10,000 is the difference. I can do simple maths. Not quick
you can,
maths,
and you did.
but simple maths.
You've done it. You've nailed it, Chad. Big, obviously, yesterday played this map. They picked it against Liquid. What was their semifinal? Liquid actually beat them the first time they've won it on LAN, and it did so mostly, I think, by giving a very competitive T side and giving Big a lot of problems that led to some rather, I think, unfortunate circumstances. Big tried to boost some clever plays that NRG brought into it, but yeah, I think that was it. There's a bit of an overextension in a lot of them, and as a result, they now found themselves here in this match against Hellraisers. So there's a chance that this could haunt them.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. I think that Big looked like the third best team in this tournament, right? So far they looked more competitive. Hellraisers got blown out of the water by NRG more so. Here they're putting up a different face. They're playing looser. They're allowing their stars to shine, and that's kind of where Voxic and Issa were found in the realms of FPL. So with more of an unbridled approach, we have been seeing a flarier game so far. That's why I think they've been quick. There have been quick matches, all things considered. So we had a 16-9. And we just had that game on Inferno that you all witnessed where it was a bit of a spanking, bit of a hiding. Big had some chances in that first half, but as soon as we got to the later stages and they just kept getting reset time after time, locked out of bomb sites, unable to retake. That's pretty much all she wrote. Players sitting there with their headsets off. I assume we're waiting just for one player to join the server. The only one who is not in the server is Voxic. Everyone else is ready and waiting. We need to get the knife round underway. Work out who's going to be starting on that CT side, or at least who's going to be having that choice, because you never know. Maybe someone will opt to start on the T side. Would surprise me.
It can be done. I mean, I think that Nuke's the only map that really demands that you start on the CT side still. And even then, there's been teams in the history of it that have picked to not do that. It's a mentality and psychological arguments about starting on the hard side, knowing exactly how you can play the game, how much risk you have to take on your CT side or otherwise. But yeah, I think overpass for me, I would be CT sided all day of the week, every day of the week.
Yeah, I agree. This is a nice little warm-up, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, coming up later this evening will be the grand final. Liquid taking on NRG.
Yes.
It's going to be a big one. These guys have played three series.
Yeah, three series.
Yeah, offline. ESO won New York, went in the favor of Liquid. ECS Season 6 went in the favor of NRG.
Which was just last week.
Yeah, and here in Supernova, they've already played within the group stage, and that one went in the favor of Liquid. So they've played 8 maps.
Well, there's a pattern there, so NRG's going to win.
Yeah, well, they've played 8 maps over those 3 series, and it's 4 maps each, but 2 series wins to Liquid.
That's interesting. 4 maps each, but 2 series wins to Liquid. Okay.
Because one of them went only 2 maps, while the other.
Yeah, 2-1, 2-1-2. Well, we're going to get the fist bumps out of the way and get the match underway. This is the knife round. I'm sure we'll bring it up on screen for the sake of your entertainment at home or on an airplane or in a boat.
If you can watch on the airplane
on a
live,
boxcar.
That's very impressive.
I think Christian was the manager from Big because he told me, I'm on a very turbulent-induced flight, and your voice might be the last I ever hear.
Oh, that's a bit scary.
I think he's being a little bit of a, facetious. But let's hope that's not the case. As Smooya gets a knife, Dead Fox gets a knife, Nex gets a knife, you get a knife, and you get a knife.
What do you think?
And you get a knife.
What do you think, Matt, about, I know that you and Henry have definitely discussed it before, but like a knife map. Like a map just dedicated for the knife, and it's like a circle.
No.
You don't like it?
No, because you'd have to reset the server to the map every time, and then that gives potential for someone to crash, and then we get delays. And
You're right. Yeah. All right. Well, you've looked at it because I was thinking we could have you could have things in the game. Remember like zombie mod?
Sure.
You'd have like zombies like slowly.
Oh
coming
yeah,
in.
okay. The walls close in on you, etc. Yeah, all right,
And
all
we
right.
skin the zombies, and they can be like
They
lions.
skin them.
Like we
okay,
make
so
them look like lions.
Yeah.
And then we make it themed like it's a gladiator type brawl. Or we could do 1v1s, like a plank. You put your best fighter up on the plank and he goes and he fights the other guy, and then he stays on and he fights the next guy. We tried to do that at LAN once, back in 1.6 days in WA, and then we made like a circle, and 2 fighters would go in and knife, and the guy would stay, and then you throw your next fighter in, and it was pretty entertaining.
Entertaining, indeed. Well, I just think that there would be too much complication within the server itself.
Of course.
Maybe if they made like competitive versions of the map where on the knife round it spawned you on like a little side room which you can't access otherwise.
Yeah, let's do that. That should be easy. Valve? Gabe?
They're not going to do it.
Hold up. Let me call him.
You'd probably have him on speed dial. I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Beep, boop, 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 beep. Oh, he's still sleeping. It's a Sunday.
Sunday, bloody Sunday.
Yeah. Well, the Americans, they're waking up, but I know Gabe, he likes a lion, so has his breakfast in bed.
Well, here we go. Naturally, Big winning the knife round have elected to start out on the CT side, and with that, they're going to actually give a heavy presence onto B. 3 toward the window already. Next goes down inside of the site directly, and Tabson pushes out into the underpass. Yesterday against Liquid, they put all 5 in the underpass, so a change already. As Angel gets one onto Tizian. Smooya instead tries to fire back, but Gobby's got the shot. It's going to open up the sight slightly, but Enos falls back to Barrel. He still has the barrels as armor despite the low HP.
Oh,
He can play that. You need a headshot, and Issa won't get one. So Gobby's got an angle that forces Angel away.
Gobby should have definitely fallen there. That flash did nothing to really force any players back, and right now Tabson from that pivot position where he's basically just listening for sound to give information to the rest of his teammates is unable to get the kill. It's left the A-bomb site completely open where Hobbit's been able to crawl on in.
This is the interesting thing. They cut off the one rotation from Angel, so rather than like completely selling the fact that he's going back to spawn and giving that away, he says, all right, you guys want to do that, I'm just going to literally stick here and stay inside of the site, go back to B, and it holds all 3 of them there thinking that they've locked everyone. So Hobbit gets a bomb plant down, Dead Fox with him as well, and they'll take out Nex. He was on 1 HP at that point in time. Gobby was not much better off, and Hobbit will find him as well. So it's now Tabson to do all of the work.
The kit's down as well, and time is now of the essence. Tabson has to find these kills very quickly, and he has to be aggressive about it. So pushing forward, dropping down. He's going to get tagged on up. His position given away. Can get the kid in this scenario, but moving too far away from the bomb. Dead Fox will finish him off, and Hobbit there. The massive kills in rotation, the information he was able to get, and that play from Angel. Step in the right direction for Hellraisers.
I just thought of something. Well, we'll come back to that. Production standpoint, it's a side note. Everyone at home, you're not missing anything. Don't worry. But
Or you are, because you're not here watching.
that's true. You should be in Malta. It's lovely.
Will be the conservative approach from Big, taking that save. This is more the norm, I think, what we're going to see on these rounds. You're going to be wanting to get at least 3 rifles, I think, the lion's share on the team who is investing. So whether it's a Galil or a Famis, or in this case 3 AKs, that's what you're going to be wanting to see. And then you use your MAC-10s or your SMGs, or maybe even a player can just get a P250 as more of your scouts. Getting out there, finding the information. Now that's where, back in the day, when anti-ecos would roll around, everyone would just mash and just quickly buy. You know, you'd just be buying what, but now you need to be more of a thought-out process. A bit more brain capacity has to go into these rounds, and especially when you're looking at more details just to do with the buy round. That's where the mind games between the in-game leaders, the approach, you know, does this team normally force buy? Do they normally go for the full save? I think Mac 10 is.
I know, but still, like, how does he hit that? He looked like he was just absolutely dead.
Pivoted on a dime. All right, gun round right now. Let's see how many orgs come out. First time round on Inferno. Big already had 3 on the. There it is, 3 again. They don't even
4.
mess around. They love it.
So Gobby's going to elect to keep his M4, but everyone else seems to be AUG players at this point. It's funny because Gobby's the one that you would think like trying to redefine the meta, and he's the only one not on this team.
Yeah.
I guess in some ways maybe he is. He said, everyone do it. I'll use the silencer. So this might be the most amount of AUGs we've seen on one team in a serious capacity.
Unable to get the AWP up early. It's going to be a fast approach over towards the B-bomb site. They've already got sandbag control. Next in connector, at least making his presence known. But look at this. Issa is just able to posture here and wait for somebody to show themselves. They're all over the map right now, Hellraisers. And this is a great approach because they're able to waste out utility from Big, who are only left with a smoke and a flash at this point. And there's still a minute 20 left on the clock. So all things considered, a very successful early round.
Issa just hanging out, watching out towards position in B, behind the barrels. He's got the AK in the ramp as well, but no one going to peek that, so AK won't be able to get the headshot as of yet. Tizian's being far more patient. Smoothie's up close. 4 AUGs.
It's crazy no one's picked that at all, and now Tizian will make his presence known. There's going to be the B attack as Smoothie wants to get aggressive.
Oh, Gotta transfer that away. Tries to run, gets caught from Monster. Tizian does make up for it, scopes in to find a second, and Tabson's got the ramp behind him. That's why he jumped back into the pit instead of taking the fight to Monster, but he's lost his teammate, found another kill, but now has to do the work to hold the site. Let the rotations come in as we see it from X-Ray. They're not quite to the window yet, and Hobbit's identified the fact that Gobby's still working out toward the connector as he'll take him down as well. All picked up in return. How about that? As Hobbit surfs away, has to turn around, smoked off. Knows that they're likely to get on the bomb before he'll get to Monster. He actually might have made it considering the circumstances, but it would have been a hard-charging, loud footprinted entrance that was resounding.
Oh.
He's trying to fire in. Tizian still alive on it. Can't find it.
Oh
No, he
my
does.
God.
He's got a chance at this. Hobbit with 2 kills, and the HP advantage wants to push out. Nex is in front of him.
No time.
But you're right, there is no time. Hobbit's done it.
The Hail Mary sprays through the smoke. He wasn't going to risk it. He wasn't going to push through. Worst case scenario, just holds onto that Org and gets out of dodge, takes it through to the following, but big. Why didn't he go for the safe defuse? He could have defused from behind the pallet. The plant was more than enough that he could have had his body hidden from Sandbag at least. Jeez, that's a big one to win. We're definitely feeling more of Hobbit's impact when things are looser, a bit more puggy, a bit more free-flowing. That first map of Train, some very good rounds on the CT side. Inferno contributed where he had to. And here with an early clutch. Next was able to pick up an AK and carry that through. It's not the force buy, but it's definitely not the worst place to be in, because if Next can find a kill and they're able to pick up a weapon from a dropped Hellraisers player, there is a chance. There's always a chance. Oh, they're not gonna, so they weren't going to clear Gob's position, but Angel jumping around. Bit of a headless chook there. Finds the kill. Is that a common phrase?
No.
Headless chook?
A headless chicken.
Okay, we call chickens chooks.
Well, then it's a common phrase with a non-common word. Still works.
Guess we butchered it a bit.
Wow, they do butcher chickens.
That's why they're headless.
Angel waiting to go to the bathrooms. Molotov down, that reveals his position and the trajectory. Obviously coming out with a relatively shallow arch. Next was ready for the crosshair placement, finds the kill, but Hobbit gets 2 back. Patience by that fountain as he swings in. So this now works out to be a 4-on-1 with Tizian only on a deagle. Hits up Hobbit. And you see the head snap back in reaction to the pain, but he's still going to go down. And an AK certainly a possibility. Issa wants to chase that to disallow the CTs from having it, but he'll play the fountain Tizian. Ooh, quite well, in fact. Not spotted, avoided the flash, and nearly had it to protect some of the bullets, but shot still lands. And we go 4-1.
Interesting start right now. That clutch from Hobbit, the impacts that's going to have, right? Obviously, the loss bonus from Big, it's able to build up quicker. We know this. We've talked about it time and time again. So that's why the double AWPs are able to come out this early. Smooyer and Tabson picking them up. Obviously, we know over towards the A bomb side is where Tabson uses it. Smooyer over towards B. Lovely smoke grenade there. Love to see that kind of play come out. It's the little things in Counter-Strike which make me excited. Anyway, so they entrusted a lot in Tabson over towards the A bomb side. Oh my god. Next is very frustrated that one. We were on his POV, we didn't even see where that came from. I've got so much control towards Sandbag, so this must be different bits and pieces that Jonta and Angel have identified how much territory we can take, how early we can do it. I just want to pressure the B bomb site time and time again.
Smooya couldn't find the angle as Voxic gets the shot back instead. Issa, with that kill from Voxic, is able to slide into the site. So we've now gone from Big barely winning out their own map on Train to Hellraisers dominating them on Inferno, and now potentially looking at a 5-0 start T-side of Overpass.
Yeah, not ideal. They have to save, right? The bomb's not even planted, and I'm already calling a save situation. We'll go down eventually.
The fact that they get it to 3, they're going to give it a crack. I know you called the save, but they're absolutely going to give this a go. No kits, though. They need to pick in the next 5 seconds.
But look where Tabson is. He's already saving. And the problem is for God B, he doesn't realize that someone's already pushed into the A bomb site. As he tries to rotate away, Hobbit is going to be lurking in the shadows, take him down. Tabson might be able to get the kill. This is an unexpected position. You would have thought he would have been on the scene with God B in tow. But now, Hobbit's awareness is there. You could see him flicking around. Head on a swivel. And Never mind. But they know his position. Dead Fox ready to chase. They know they need to take this away. You remove this from tabseN's hands. Sure, they've got max loss bonus. That's not enough to get together a buy. Jumping past recheck behind him. No, he won't. tabseN will hold on to the AWP. A bunch of utility as well. Let's see if the star of Big can do something alone. I feel like I would call the force buy here behind that AWP.
Sweet shot. Silky smooth, sweet shot, and we have the score we talked about. It's 5-0. So Big going to be trying to respond. That max loss bonus, but it's the CT side, means that only tabseN saved AWP is what they have to work with. Quick little flash over, self-flash, plays close, doesn't realize they've already gone by, so he needs to get out of there. That's still in, oh, he was still in the line of sight there from the second entry.
Taken along very quickly, so this is a position they will most likely flash. I'd be surprised if they just drive B. Dear Angel straight into the hands of tabseN and got B close to trade on out. Really low HP on Issa. He'll fall as well. And
great setup.
Yeah, simple as that, isn't it?
Didn't flash it, you're right. AWP hits. Gobby swings from long as they're all distracted to the bathrooms and then strikes the low HP as they get a third kill coming out.
Oh, Voxic tagged him up on B. He will find the kill on Tizian, which means the door is open to that avenue of attack. But look at Dead Fox. He's getting information via audio cues. He knows they're rotating back, about to have a man in his line of sight. Unable to convert the kill.
Tagged as well. Gets tagged through the box by the AWP. Keep in mind where the bomb is. They've got to go all the way back for that at 52 seconds. Voxic's got Gobby. Now the site is open, but he still has to hold that. Oh, I say it's open. Watch. Look at Smooya at mid. He can still push back through water. So if they run this bomb too aggressively, at least Voxic's aware of that possibility, because I was going to say, if he has to hold the window and try and just let his teammate run toward him, he'll get caught off. I think Smooya's going to hear this. Low HP. Dead Fox should go down in one single shot if he times it well, but instead he's going to try and sneak in behind immediately from the monster entrance. tabseN could just try and fire through the smoke as well. Instead, the Molotov, but the smoke already on top of it means Dead Fox is safe. That's the high HP player. He's gone, and Smooya now gives him a massive chance as he opens himself up. Dead Fox, tabseN finds the kill.
tabseN with 3 in the round there. Good play by him. The fact that Smooya didn't take that duel as a heads-up play and actually let him through, it's a risk. It's definitely a risk, but you wouldn't have assumed that... we know that tabseN hit that shot. tabseN probably isn't aware that he was able to hit that through the box and put Dead Fox on such low HP. So with percentages in mind, Smooya gave himself the best chance to be as disruptive as possible. Did exactly that. Here's that setup. Yeah, I'm really surprised we didn't see a flash coming. You could see Gobby's positioning. He was already looking into the wall. So I'm not saying like the flash would have been the saving grace, but it would have forced tabseN away from that line of sight, maybe given them a chance to trade out more efficiently.
This now gives us a situation in which they've stolen a round back, and it was the AWP that found 3 kills. For tabseN, the only gun they had. Now they've got a second AWP, and a bunch of guns carried over. This could be huge. Watch out, tabseN pushed up. Voxic has the shot instead. Just look at it.
Just look at it.
Okay, shots down through the smoke. Molotov thrown out toward the bench position. That will allow them up over the top. Gobby's already forced back inside of the bathrooms as well. So we have a potential reset, but in the fact that there wasn't a whole lot of investment, tabseN and Smooya are fine. So it's going to have to be an early save call from Big if they go down, I'm going to say, to even 3 players here. Depending on where the bomb is at the time that happens. Gobby could certainly change the fates of the entire round here and now. But done already. 2 players up. Again, we mentioned it. Those 2 can save, but they've got 2 that can buy, and that's it. They pretty much have to gamble this out and say it's gone.
The thing is, with so much time on the clock, and you already have a player lurking over towards B, so you know that they're contained. They can't have gone to T-spawn unless they've scurried through connector. Next one's to heal this, actually. He's going to drop. I was going to say, when they were going for this save call, Issa is in a position to make sure that they can't hold on to any rifles, but they're more than happy to take the fight and give it away regardless. Tizian's position should eventually be found, and the call of chase should be ringing out loudly. Angel should be spouting it, shouting it, getting his players to hunt this guy down, because one thing is about to ensue here, and that is the hard reset.
Yeah, again, and they had 2 players that could buy, that's it. Tizian absolutely needs to save this AUG, and he can't do it. Voxic finds him with that gun. At least they might have been able to force with SMGs around it, dropped out from both Smooya and Mr. tabseN.
Voxic had 3 kills in that round with 3 different weapons. So when he stood up, he killed him with the AK.
That's a good point.
Picked up the AWP, and then finished him off with the M4. Yeah, why not? As the FOV, they're giving us a nice little cinematic.
Some pretty flowers that will all be destroyed if the C4 goes off. So that's why the CTs are here. They're protecting the flowers. The bank is secondary.
Don't protect those balloons. I don't know if anybody caught the clip of me grenading myself like an absolute clown, but I thought that because I've thrown flashes and smokes through the balloons before, the HE bounces.
Is that true?
Yeah.
You can flash and smoke through, but yet you can stand on them.
Yeah.
That seems really odd to me. Because the collision should be I don't know. I don't know that much about the whole hammer map making and all that nonsense, but I would have thought that one object is an object. Issa goes creeping in towards sandbags where Smoothie has his op and responds in time. Great headshot. All things considered, it just needed to be a body shot, but manages to find the forehead. Give him a shave, just like Nikolai is going to get after this series.
Oh, really?
Finals. I don't know. I'm just making that up to rub it in.
Oh. Well, is everyone aware?
If we had 100,000 concurrent followers in the finals, Nikolai will shave his head. If we had 150,000 concurrent followers in the finals, I will shave mine.
God damn, you're really signing yourself up for some madness lately, aren't you?
It's the result of not having any sanity.
Yeah, I guess. We all do dumb things. Will be a B approach here. 30 seconds left on the clock. The bomb on Deadfox. If he drops here individually, they're not going to be able to pick it up too quickly. Getting onto the bomb site, Smear from Heaven. He's going to get a kill, but unfortunately now he's found himself in a position where he needs to find more. That bomb is dropped exactly as I mentioned, and now Hobbit, 1v3 situation. He's going to fall to Tizian, who's getting hyper-aggressive. 2 rounds for Big, and they've done it when they've been hamstrung. They've done it when they've had an AWP and pistols. So that's the 2 rounds from a very similar fashion. Let's see if they can do better this time with weaponry. Hellraisers can buy again when they've managed to stay on top of the economy. In Inferno, at least, they punished Big this time round, giving them a little bit more slack, giving them a little bit more rope.
So Big with 2 rounds to Hellraiser 6. Money not exactly a phenomenal circumstance. Deagle only for Issa. The rest are well equipped. Smoothie's going to get aggressive once more. Ooh. Taps and just barely get up on that ledge in time to fire the shot. Angel is on the receiving end of it. That is one of the AKs down in that position, so if Issa can get back over there, they'll be able to pick up that gun and be all well and good. And in fact, I think he's heading in that direction.
You see him? Someone definitely just yelled at Smoothie then. Someone definitely would have gone, hey, Smooth, you see him on the radar, brah.
Yeah, that happened to me in the show match. I didn't realize I could, but Nitro told me I could see Sheila, and by the time I realized, I was dead. I don't really look at the radar in situations, but I should have been, perhaps.
A lot of the time, the player's eyes are absolutely glued, especially looking into smokes.
I was in the smoke, so that's my excuse.
Yeah, some of the
I thought of
nuances
that.
there.
I swear.
So you're listening to the club beats over by the little rabbit. He's going to get 2 big kills, so energized.
Don't think it's as loud as it used to be. It used to be like really loud when you were standing in there.
They turned it down a bit, huh?
I think so.
It'd be good if it had like
That's 3
club
now.
to death.
Sorry?
What's the banger that is always synonymous with like Counter-Strike?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh well. All right, well, Big 3 rounds on the board right now. Mounting a bit of a comeback. This is more reminiscent of the first map as opposed to the second, where they started down and out on train. 5 rounds in the hole. Mounted a fantastic comeback and were able to win the half on the T side, and then just have blistering fashion on their CTs. So double AWP setup, or at least the AWPs are proving difficult for Hellraisers, who have now found themselves in a pistol upgrade scenario. The utility leans towards the fact that they probably will have an execute or a plan in mind. At the moment, it's just the default spread. Already have a player over towards balloons. Still being able to get sewer and sandbag control relatively easily. So those things stay the same. Looking at the radar in the top left, it looks like a cluster of big players. It looks like a big clump of all together. A lot of pressure on Tabson. So this is a very old approach. This is what we used to see very early days of at least this iteration of Overpass. Just jump peeking for information and allowing time for your teammates to rotate back through. The cavalry has arrived. God be a neck now on the scene.
And the AWP
this is
looking over.
push.
Interesting considering you don't have any info and you're up against pistols. Watched like a hawk though by the AWP of Tabson as Gabi was. All out the front of bathrooms, now allowed to push out in front of them because they can't go through and get behind him. So certainly want to leave Gabi in aggressive position. He goes back around, flash out. Oh, and only one. Voxic with the immediate trade on the CZ. However, goes down. Next, the one to do so. Missed shot from Tabson, but that tells Next they're up close. Wants to swing, wants to commit. Won't commit, however, because Voxic, that's a great shot to destroy Tabson. He'll pick up the op, however, and we go 6-4. So Big turning the fates.
Just to note, with that God B position, you're seeing him a little bit more aggressive there. When you do have that many guys on the A-bomb site, it's better to have one player in a forward position like that. When you see the execute come over, the smokes are thrown from more of a passive spot from the T's. When you have a member close and personal like God B was, it slows down their execute. So as the smokes and Molotovs are landing in the site, the backup can either play in front or set up a boost while you slow them down. They have to trade you out. They have to kill you. God B also can play a bit of a nuisance in that position by, if he gets one kill, if he forces a player out of position, then their whole execute can even fall apart, and a massive hole within a smoke, a missed flash, the dominoes fall. Will be a save round or a pistol upgrade round once more. They've got toilet control easy again. This was identified yesterday. Hellraisers are taking advantage of that. Looks like they're going to pounce off this one flash. Here it comes. He's going to blind Gob completely up. The information will be given to his teammates, and they're on the bomb side. But this is a very awkward position to find themselves in, between a truck and a hard place.
Truck and a hard place. Those both sound pretty hard to me.
Yeah.
Unless it's a Ford, in which case, not really that hard. Bit soft as we get, again, a little bit closer. So again, we are seeing a slower game, by the way, than Inferno. That was mentioned. The default tends to be a bit more of a, I guess, relaxed pace, maybe.
Looser affair.
A little bit. But Big, just like they did on Train, are now coming back from a very slow start and now have it within one very similar situation occurring again as Gabi will put a Molotov down inside of the underpass position. Tizian, he's going to push out forward and run boost the op across.
Love it.
And it's going to be, in perfect position, but Smooya couldn't find the shot. It's Hobbit to do so instead. He's traded, but the advance goes to Hellraisers as Dead Fox gets the second man in the site, third overall, truthfully, but the second of the rifles. And now smokes off window, meaning that the bomb plant is certainly a possibility. High HP means that nade won't be able to take Foxic down. Good damage, you're absolutely right, but bomb planted nonetheless.
Getting back into this is going to be difficult, but there is utility to allow an avenue of attack. Godby now posturing forward with AK in hand. That grenade's going to give away the position of at least one. Taps out a bullet. Now they know that the retake is on. Utility will be dispersed. Clearing the corners, but Taps is going to find one. Now this becomes even more possible. They have to speed it up, though.
They know that there's one down below because that nade was bounced over at Godby when he first came down the stairs. So he's got to be aware, but Dead Fox sees the gun barrel, fires back through the wall, and it's Hellraisers with the rounds.
Next had one of those moments where he found the opening kill and pulled out a nade to kind of delay. You know, he wanted to drop a nade, a Molotov, whatever he pulled out on the site so that teammates could get on in a little bit quicker, but in doing so, he's given himself up for free. That's one of those situations where maybe staying gun on would have been optimal, especially with that many players in his face. They're the ones where you go back and you watch the demo and you go, man, that's just a mistake on my behalf. Still able to get a gun round together, sticking with the double AWP. Smoothie got really unlucky there with the timing. If he had gotten across, normally when you do that, it's to take advantage of a player doing a default. So when you're set up as an AWP player, passively watching that push, ooh, he almost gets a freebie. He's missed another shot here, and he gets a second crack at it. Will only get the leg in. That position where he legged Issa, look at this repositioning. Smoothie wants to get in the game. He wants to be activated.
He looked rather frustrated by missing that shot, to be honest. His facial expression didn't say much other than dismay.
He's normally one of the lowest rated players for Big on this map, so.
It's true, you pointed that out yesterday as well.
Yeah.
Tabson, with the other op, meanwhile, is finding the frags. He's got an Angel down, and he'll back away to the site. Smoothie is still waiting for the connector. If that doorway opens, he's got position for it. Might open as well, given the kill from his teammate. Could funnel them in that direction, but Smoothie being a little more passive at this point. Smoke off for the short tunnel. He now hears them smoke off instead of the sandbags. Molotov, incendiary, in fact, doubling up in that position. Tizian on the barrels will now smoke Monster, trying to delay this as long as possible. There's 38 seconds left for Hellraisers to take over B. Moxic trying to get anything with the boost. Looking for the counter boost to the opposing side. Bird next, stand on top of the bags, and he gets tagged up behind the board. It's now Smoothie back toward barrels with the AWP. Looking both back and right for the boost, but it's Tizian on the AUG. So as much as Smoothie's been adaptive, he's only now going to find kills. He gets 2. That's better off. The patience pays off for him because pretty much everyone else was involved in Kakafu. Very elated.
Important round. You didn't want this half to be too much of a blowout. I want to keep it as even as possible. This is a CT-sided affair. But this is why it's important. You can see what that's done to the economy of Hellraisers, who have opted to go with what is almost an all-in. Well, it is an all-in. They've shoved all in. They're really making the most of this whole Malta situation. It's going to be a fast B-play utility over very quickly, so unless the protocol is in, unless the Molotovs have landed, it's going to be a free win with bomb site. Tizian's dropping what he can. Now he's in danger.
Danger, but lines him up. Didn't counter off the fact that Issa jumped over the barrels to find the kill. Next knows that he's still in there somewhere, Voxic. As he traded it out with his teammate, but it's down to just one. Voxic versus the world. He's got Nex. Good start. Pre-scoped in with the AUG. Actually dinks up Smoothie down to 4 HP. Oh, a bit of damage from the nade, but nearly located Gombi's entry at 7-7 nonetheless. So tie with 15. For the half means that Hellraisers have to go to pistols. Pistols mean that likely Big can actually win this at 8-7, which again would be similar to Train, where they went 8-2 after starting 0-5.
Thing is, they just all in, right? So now they have nothing for this last round. So they're screwed. At least for the first half. Or the last round of the first half. So
yeah, that's the good news. It's not like they're screwed for multiple rounds by that.
It's just this position that they're finding themselves in right now. Which all in all, considering the circumstances, it's been a fantastic first half from them.
Yeah,
should be happy with this one.
Bit of time to talk casually among friends in the big side as this tactical timeout is called by Hellraisers, or I should say was, as we're back underway, 5 seconds into the round. Drop down toward the ladder as Nex waits at the end of the hallway. Angel, the only one in the underpass position at this point in time. Smoothie still holding on with the AWP towards sandbags as he has in a few different rounds at this point in time. With the AWP, he's now going to be very passive. Are they going to boost him? Does he want to boost? Looked like he was going to call for one, and he will. It's going to be him to go up. Look at Gombi pushing aggressively, but to the knife to try and run away, perhaps a little bit prematurely as Hobbit comes back around the corner with the P250. He's now picked up the M4 from his fallen foe. Tabsent waiting as well with the AWP. Can he find it? Hobbit a little slow getting around the corner. One, it's actually shoulder peek. The front side of the bathrooms, not anticipating an op in that position. Tabsent gets the kill nonetheless and can now focus back towards Smoothie boosted. He's just missing at the easy ones today, it seems. Not exactly on as we've come to expect from Owen. Flash will hold him at bay toward jungle as well, and the post plant gets forward underneath of the window. They only have pistols to work with. The only gun they picked up was the one that Hobbit has already lost. So bomb will tick in round 15. Up in the hands, 2 under the window. Double it. Oh, double it. I like this. I like this boost a lot. They've gotten away with it as well. Voxic wasn't spotted as he got around the corner. Dead Fox finds one. Voxic's still going to stay up there. They're going to think that that's clear. They're not going to expect it.
No.
Oh, he's missed it. He has to get away. He had a chance. He had a free kill on a platter, and he couldn't find it because the CZ ran out of ammo. He goes back to the window, and now he's locked in. Smoothie finds the kill.
Got dicey for a minute there. The CZ. Obviously, it's had a couple of nerfs in recent times. The move, it was great. You know, the fact that they had to make a play. They had to change it up. The pistols are only going to do so much. And he made the best out of a bad situation. But still, like we said, it's a good half, all things considered, for the Hellraisers. And positive signs as well for Big, who battled back into it. They didn't just roll over. They didn't just let Hellraisers take it away from them. Had some, I guess, miracle rounds where they had the saved AWP in the hands of Tabson getting work done. They found themselves in a position now. But they can really fight for this game. Fight for that third place, that bronze medal. So we're getting the second half underway right now. Let's just take a quick account of what is on the board. Dead Fox, as we've been saying time and time again, he's got the utility, 2 flashes and a kit. Tizian, smoke, Molotov, got B, 2 flashes and a smoke. So the approach this time round isn't going to be that quick. Tabson and Smooya will grab sewer control, but connector push coming in. As Nex has just backed off, so flash themselves out. They want to duel towards sewer. Smooya stands. He's going to find Angel. It's going to be the first kill going in favor of Big. And they're not going to accelerate from here. They're just going to kind of chill. They're going to stand and wait and use that utility at a later stage. So now they have the control. I expect the smokes and Molotovs to come in. They push through Monster. It looks like it definitely is going to be a B hit at this point. So Issa has a lot of work to do here, Matt.
Tons of work with this many players in front of him, but he's got the linear perspective. He sees 2,
God.
and they don't respond to him. He's happy to fight for more. Finds a third as well. Next goes down, and he just absolutely obliterates this pistol round. But given he's lost a teammate as well, they've only got a 1-man advantage. The Hobbits and Voxic say they have more, and they'll get the round. We tie things back up on 8. Momentum going the way of Hellraisers.
It's a risk, but they needed information in that situation to control connector, to have an all-in so early with a kill falling quickly. Someone had to make a play, and Issa, an absolute beast from the Middle East.
Not bad. The beast from the Middle East. And Issa's going to take the charge toward B as well to start it off. With the kills, he immediately goes on to the M4. Voxic waiting for a chance, swings out, lines up, taps it. Goes down. Hobbit and Voxic converge for a kill further. Each of them, that is. So 3 in total. Tizzy and Nex, the only 2 remaining on the big side. And Dead Fox already pushing out to the water on B will start to limit off the options and availabilities on the map for Big. With 1 minute and 20 seconds, that bomb still in vision as well, means that they know exactly where they can hang out and hold. And Hellraisers find number 9. They find number 9 with all 5 staying alive as well, which is massive in the new money system because, like I said, the buys come a little bit early now on round 3, and if you have to reinvest, if you haven't built up some cash, you're going to find a bit of an awkward circumstance. Should you lose that, and should you go then on to round 4, you're likely saving immediately.
All right, here we go.
Where are we going?
Nowhere yet. Tomorrow we're going to Denmark. Odense. All right, default spread right now. No one caretaking B for Big, so that lets me know it's probably going to be a quicker approach over towards the A bomb site. Normally you have someone over there as a caretaker spamming through smokes, making sure no one can push. This is the flash I wanted to see before, and not going to get anything done as Voxic can pivot. Gets a chance for a second. Will pre-spam, and that's going to actually... Flash comes in, it gets next, but Gobby's ready behind the tree. He's going to get a second on Hobbit, re-aggressing, so huge from Gob. We know the impact he can have on overpass, a map he loves.
It's a back out. Down though, Tizzy in there with the AK, and it's onto the MP9s. They had rifles to start this round off. They were the ones that seemingly got caught out in aggressive positions. The SMGs are going to be able to do absolutely nothing against this from Big, but in some effects, the fact that they didn't have to reinvest this round, although they did choose to invest into utility, it is a bit of a bonus. But again, this bonus doesn't come with the luxury of 2 rounds of added cushion. So it's still going to be a very desperate buy if Hellraisers, or I should say 4 Hellraisers in the next round. SMG wants to get $600 per kill. That's the goal at this point in time because every bit of money is going to help that, which I previously mentioned, that economic situation, but they go down, or rather, he goes down without a single fight.
I usually go down without a fight.
Well, it means that it doesn't take much to convince you, does it? Let that sink in a minute. Nonetheless, it means that now the advantage, despite that they've lost the opening 2 rounds and only won 1 so far in this half, is actually with Big. Excuse me. I thought they might try and go for a bit more on it, but they're going to stick with what they have. The 5 AK-47s. It's Issa.
Oh, Molotov.
5-7 only for him. That Molotov is well placed, isn't it?
He can hang around, though. The thing is, he doesn't have any utility to reapply to keep that position alive. But you can see 4 members over towards this A bomb site. 1 towards connector, 1 in limbo with the stairs. Hobbit is going to wait and pounce off of contact, and a player in bathroom spot in the long corner. They have an idea that someone was there. Malta's going to land again, and Hubble will burn. He will fall. That's very good due diligence from Big Clan here. I'm liking what I'm seeing in the early stages. Now they can accelerate the schedule, push forward, take bathroom control, and try and catch a CT. They will. Next again. Look at the awareness. He knows someone has to be in that position based off the setup we saw going down. And oh, God, we're not going to expect another. Ooh, the mouse wheel. No, the bomb will drop. The frustration's still going to be there from Issa.
Yep. He got the kill nonetheless, but it bombed down. AK picked up. If he had 100 HP rather than the 12 that he has, with the head armor, he would be in a fine position to hold off this round. That box is going to increase the chances, though. He'll take down Smooya and only loses 26 in the process, but next clears out bathrooms, and Dead's got it all to do. Smartly, they're going to rotate away from him as well. 25 seconds, they'll get back to B.
He might get there before them, though.
You know what? The fact that they stopped to throw utility meant that he might have, but, well, that's now changed, hasn't it?
It looked like he was rotating. When we were on his POV, he
fair.
was running back towards like the drop down, which to me thought, hey, maybe he's got a really good read, but maybe a call came in that they need to save this weapon. 10's going to be on the board for Big, getting back in the lead. It's felt like a very long time since we can say that. And they don't really need to change too much up. Just stick with this approach. You know right now, the money situation is dismal. Definitely not optimal for Hellraisers, who will have to take a save here. Tizian, look at him towards the top of the scoreboard.
We in like some crazy fisheye right now.
This is like playing with the FOV, right?
Yeah.
Production getting creative.
They're artistes.
It's just going to be a fast B play. I like it. I really do like it. The chances of getting stifled here is pretty slim. Godby leading in charge of the MAC-10. He's just got to convert first. He's going to do so. They know there's more on the scene because of that utility user. He's going to find the second, just barreling forward. Be surprised if he doesn't hunt for more.
Godby firing into the barrels in the smoke up close. No one there. Confirmed cleared, confirmed bomb down, and likely 11 to 9. Smooya wants to hunt. Foxix got positioned to disallow that. Oh, he spotted though. He got the angle. Smart play from Smooya. Considered it. That's the first port of call, and then managed to make it work. Issa gets one back onto Smooya, who went hunting, but he's tagged in low, which means he should go down to the AK, and will Tizian to confirm. He missed it on the early damage as well, given that no assist on that, and he was at 24 when they first made contact, but now it's going to be Hobbit. All on his own with a deagle. Round long gone at this point. So our third place decider match in the third map, going the distance at this point, but looking like we were getting to the sharp end of it. And Big putting the best foot forward at the right time.
Let's see if Voxy can bring out the AWP here, because they do need to find an opening pick. Force Big into playing a 4v5 mid-round scenario. Obviously, we're going to see one more eco come out just based on the... Oh, that's a miss Molotov from Tabson. We did see that. They're doing this again. So these nades, by the way, they go over to the jump spotter for sandbags. That's normal approach to hold on to utility early. So those HEs coming in are a great way to deal some early cheeky damage. I'm not sure if they will be expecting another save in this scenario. So pushing on in, Tabson's going to find that information at this point. That'll be relayed. They'll know now what they're working with. But they're bullying the B-bomb side again. It feels like a lot of their rounds have come over towards this side of the map.
Oh, fantastic. Knew the angle perfectly. Crosshair placement just tapped it with the AD. Tizian's going to add to it as well with Big. Fantastic position once more. Smooya's got an angel down. It's Voxic, now the only one left with his deagle this time. So 12 rounds now for Big, 4 to go, and they'll be crowned, if you want to call it that, the bronze finisher, third place in Malta. As you say, there's a $10,000 difference between from fourth and third. Significant.
That's for sure. So I'm just starting to theorize. That's what I was talking about, the AWP setup. I think Voxic needs to get the big green in hand, and they need to give him an opportunity to find a kill. Set him up somewhere to get an opening kill, then they can drop back and play a little bit more reserved. Hellraisers don't play as much of the buddy system as other teams. I was highlighting yesterday NRG, for example. Their trades, how good it is on a map for them on overpass. their 4v5 percentages, and that's all because of the way that they approach a lot of situations. It's buddy-buddy. Hellraisers, they need a player to step up with impact frags, you know, a two-piece that they can really have a domino effect on. The ult will be out. And we are on board with Voxic right here, right now. So let's see what can happen as he's going to go for a grenade over the hedge. He's going to miss a lot of missed grenades in the last couple rounds.
A ton, hasn't there? Particles everywhere.
So those nades just tagged Angel. You can see him position. His HP just dropped. They threw the HEs again. So what they're trying to do with those nades is, sure, they want to do damage, but you're conditioning a player not to do the jump spot. So the way that that factors into the late game, the way that that factors into future rounds is you might be able to grab sandbag control quicker. They can't boost, they can't jump spot. They have to play close sandbag, which means they can get flashed off the line a lot quicker. So this is the flow-on effects. These aren't just small details to aim for one kill. This is a constant mind game, a constant battle, and this is one of the unique things about Counter-Strike.
Next is still just waiting it out toward the stairs to see if the CTs will force any aggression out and get information. Hobbit that actually gets next back. Voxic, he's going to add to that. So Hellraisers with a 2-man advantage with early picks that are sustained.
Now it gets very difficult for Big. A 3-on-5 situation with limited map control. They don't realize that bathrooms and long are basically given up for free. And with the clock ticking on down, it will be the B approach. Smooth has to open up the account here. He's in a position where they know that someone could have taken control, so I wouldn't expect a Hellraisers player to just whimsically run into his line of sight as I say that. Angel does exactly that. Doesn't matter. Gets the kill. Just leaves God B left. He was going to find 2. A map he just continues to thrive on and find kills. Very unique as we'll eventually go down to the in-game leader of Hellraisers. But I think we just need to that's a cool thing to potentially talk about. Like specialists on maps. God B obviously not meant to be one of the bigger fraggers, but on Overpass in the last 2 days, he's been a force.
He's looked excellent. There's no question about that. He's looked absolutely formidable. He's played aggressively in a number of times in this series, and now we find another round, at least for Hellraisers, as we go 10-12. Double op setup once more. Voxic, no question, he's the one that's going to run up and try and take the fight. He's got Hobbit alongside with him, who will play likely in the stairwell, but not go much beyond the bottom of them because he wants to be able to support and swing and help his teammate. Tabson nearly gets the jumping player at B. Angel's actually tagged by it, so a bullet grazed his arm. Voxic's already elected to back off it. That check. Ooh. He saw it. He started to look away. Yeah, he started to look away and realized, oh, you are there, are you? So tries to get a better angle on it inside of the bathrooms, but no one's going to make it easy for him. No need to make it easy.
You have to do that now. The way that all these corners are being jump picked, this is just the nature of the game at this point. If you're wide picking or you're just stepping out on a corner like that, you're going to get taken down time and time again. So your approach needs to be a little bit more nuanced. That's just the way the game goes at this point, and it will be the A approaches. Now they've got control, they can push on up on the bathrooms. They do have enough utility to do a set piece, and I like this when we saw it against Tyloo in the opener. They were able to do that smoke wall very easily. Angel in the same disruptive forward position that I spoke about earlier with God B. So that's going to be pivotal. That's where we need to keep our eyes as this execute will flow onto the site.
Six certainly still waiting on the site, ready with the AWP, but now the angle's been given away because Smooth's flashed it. Teammate checking the corner didn't make it easy. Stayed in front of him for a second. Voxic's going to relocate once more. Molotov, that'll go toward the one-and-done angle. Position in the corner. Flash means an easy kill for Gobby. Angel down. Voxic does find one. He gets toward the truck. Gets behind it. That's where the Molotov was. Tabson still catches off Voxic in retreat. And now the advantage goes back to Big. And this would be a reset round. Keep that in mind. Bomb planted. Smoke not down toward the truck, but well aware of that fact is Gobby and stares directly in that direction to force Issa on the retreat.
Chase is already on though. Look at this. Look how quick to cut off the rotation. Already in sewer. They can take this gun out of Issa's hands. Hellraisers don't even have a weapon to work with. Now he's making noise. Tabson's awareness at this point is going to be first on up. We'll take the kill. They don't need the secondary AWP to remove that. That's great play there from Big.
Some wine and a baguette.
What else do you reckon's in the picnic basket?
Depends.
We're in Germany.
Germany, strudels. Currywurst.
I do thoroughly enjoy currywurst.
No, you don't.
I do.
Why?
I enjoy a curry. I know it's nothing like a traditional curry. But
I suppose like a good curry roast, is that a thing? All the ones I've had have just been awful.
Yeah, that's what they like. That's the
Yeah,
whole point.
okay.
That's the appeal of them.
Well, I guess it's like poutine in Canada. There are certain times when poutine is well sought after. Usually around 2:30 a.m. Smooya trying to sneak up, might have problems. This is a pistol. Thankfully, Tizian's got the angle. I was going to say, that's a pistol against an AWP in very close proximity with basically 90 degrees separating their aim where it would have been placed. So the pistol could have easily found the headshot before the AWP responded. Tizian, meanwhile, now with that kill, is able to clear out the rest of the staircase and head over toward the bathrooms. Very passive from Hellraisers. They're all back toward the site with these pistols. You would have expected maybe something a little bit more eager.
Yeah, without being too much doom and gloom in this situation, this is an all-in from Hellraisers. If they can't get anything done, if they can't even hold on to any weapons or be remotely competitive in this round, this situation, that's 14 on the board for Big. That's no money in the bank for Hellraisers, and that right there should be the game. That should be it. Big have positioned themselves very well here after a shaky first half. This T side has been a clinic. Angel has been the playmaker for Hellraisers previously, and he's going to look to do it again as he will grab a kill. Now with that AK in transition, it's going to force a quicker rotation out of Big because the clock is now the enemy, and with the forward position of Angel, the rest of the rotation come over towards the B bomb site. This could get clumsy. They could fumble in this situation with the clock being an issue.
Smooya does get inside of the site. Off it, however, gets taken down by Godby. Immediately taps and gets dead. Fox smoke off. He's elected to go back and watch the flank. Instead, bomb's not yet planted, and this has gotten two. Pistol to play with. AK's still up. Bomb's not there. You're right. They can't get it back up. It got flung over the wall. Can they make it? He's got it on 2 seconds. I don't think there's time. I don't think that goes down. And they kill Angel instead. He wasn't aware they weren't planting.
Hellraisers won.
They did get it. Okay. Whew.
Why was
I
Angel
thought he got the kill
that?
just in time.
Whew.
I thought Angel went down before the time. That was that would have been as close as you like, because he would have thought they were planting and went for the peek to try and catch them off on it. If he stayed back, round was secure. Turns out they got it anyway, but that was extremely close. That all comes on the start of Angel as well. You said he was the playmaker.
They need to
he
relax
pushes up.
here. This needs to not be an argument at this point. This needs to just
I don't think it is. I think Godby's just being very animated in what he's trying to say. He's being a sergeant. He's not taking any insubordination.
Sure. Well, that could have been it. That could have been the absolute end. With this pause, it actually gives both teams a chance to reset. I think that Hellraisers have to take it to establish what buy they're going to go for going forward. Whereas the money situation for Big was never in question. They just need to keep doing what they were doing. Look, Angel made a play. We do know he's the one who's able to pivot rounds. But 50% of the time it works, 50% of the time he may die, and that's the round as well. They've gone back for that sandbag approach. We talked about conditioning for the boost. This is a different boost coming in. He has to treat this like an aim map. It's a contact play.
Yes, they can't get the first shot on boost, but stays around for more. That only serves to give him away. Got Tizian for one.
They're locked out already, man.
Yeah, the op shot lands, and they know that as he was boosted, they know exactly where Dead Fox was.
Oh, next. This could be huge. 3 players coming into his line of sight with the flank. He's going to get the first. He gets a chance to stand and deliver on the next 2, but even just delaying here, that's more than enough. Teammates helping as well. This is great awareness.
Yeah, flash out. They even smoke off next to try and get away. They're going to save. They need to back out toward T-spawn, so this will be another round for Big after only 1 from Hellraisers, which means reset, but 3 guns kept. So Big going to find 14 with 2 to go. Don't forget our major finals, our real finals, the grand finals, that's what the words I was looking for, come up just after this. It's Liquid versus NRG. Tabson's still hunting to try and get one of these 2 remaining guns down. Nobody's behind the tree. Damage done with that Navy to just spray through, but he wants to locate it, the line of sight. And there you go, 14 for Big.
Those kills there, taking away whatever weaponry Hellraisers were able to try and keep alive, is where it becomes troublesome. But I counted them out before, and they made it work with 5-7s. They got 5-7s again, so anything's possible. But Big are on 14 rounds to the 11 of Hellraisers. This is the crunch time. You're going to need another play to come out, and let's see if it's one of the ones where Angel gets the kill and they actually convert, or if he drops without any form of trade. He's in limbo again towards Connector, but he has a buddy in tow. Tizian is close, and there's a long push, so a collapse could come in. As Angel, what's going on here? They've walked past him. He's just been shot at. He hasn't even realized it. What's going on? Angel's looking the complete wrong way. His teammate will go down. Tizian's going to find Angel, and it quickly fell apart. It was looking so good.
Yeah, that fell apart extremely fast, considering how badly they needed this round as well. Big's now going to be on map. And series points. Holding inside of the connector and somehow letting it all get too close. So not much in it. Dead Fox, again, going to probably try and save this M4. In fact, they're going to try and go for what T-Spawn to do it, but that's where Tabson already waits. Issa down. Dead Fox can take the fight heads up on the M4 and manages exactly that, but now with his position given away, he's got to be fully on alert. Tries to get an AK, tries to hold it off. Smoke down as well. As they want to hunt his position, he'll hold off the stairway, but that can be flashed through. He's aware of that. And they're going to peek this together. Get ready for it. Spray in. Smooya takes the angle. Gun gone, and map series in third place point for Big.
Oh.
They seem happy about it.
Yeah, he has a shovel. He's just buried a body. They murdered someone together.
Actually, that's Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly shaking hands after their PR stunt worked.
Is that bucket full of money?
Probably. And that's the shovel from the music video.
Ah. Well, my reference paled in comparison to yours.
I got the hair for it.
I wasn't talking about that. I meant pale as in bucket.
The bucket, I got it, yeah. But I went with the pale
yeah.
skin of
Yeah.
both of those people in the white hair with, you know, all right, let's get back to the game, shall we?
It is the last round after all.
Oh. Smooya tried desperately to find the shot through the boards. MP9, the only well, I shouldn't say that. There's an automatic weapon in the form of a CZ, I guess, but the only non-pistol in the round. Smooya does get Issa down. Start to the end, perhaps a bitter demise for Hellraisers, despite the fantastic start in this match as well. But mission shot from Smooya allows the push-up of Dead Fox on that SMG, but he's gone down immediately after. Just two to find. Hobbit holding behind the barrels. Can't even catch off tabs. Gray screen walking through, and it falls to Voxic. 1 versus 4. Bomb can even rotate back to A, not take any chances as Voxic will at least get a gun from his kill on Tabson.
Has a kit, has a smoke, has a flash.
Doesn't have head armor, but that's fine against the AK-47s. He's got chest, which means the aim punch is less of a factor. Double Molotov down to the stairs. That's frustrating. Wants to time this and be as close to the flames as he can without giving away a tick of damage. Works through the first, second one time just after it, so it's gone as well. Smoke in position. Imagine he goes toward the smoke either way on this because he's really got to get back in. In fact, sprays it. That's pretty much giving it up at this point. He knows the situation. He'll be feeling it in his head that really not much he can do. Insurmountable task, and it is indeed for Big as they walk out third in this tournament with the 16-11 win on map 3.
Yeah, that Inferno game, a bit of a blip on the radar. That wasn't the characteristic Big we've seen throughout the rest of this tournament thus far, and that was a fantastic performance from them. You know, they kept their heads up even though they were looking down in the dumps in the start of the third map. Able to battle back. And on the T side, bit of a clinic. Sure, we had the hiccup. Sure, we had the last-minute disaster over towards B, but not enough to stop them in the chase. This third place, they're able to grab that one. And that's, I guess, what we were expecting coming into this tournament.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everyone performing up
we're
to the level.
actually pretty much finishing in seeds that you might have expected coming into this. The only exception is that Ty Lu can sometimes sneak into the mix. But they didn't even make the playoffs, so the top 4 remains as you would have guessed otherwise. That said, it is Big in third. Our grand final comes up next. It's Team Liquid versus Energy.
It's going to be a good one. I'm excited for that one. I think both teams have shown some very unique CS over this this few days. We've also had the players going off, right? Cirque and Ethan, they're leading the charge right now for MVP contenders. Obviously, we haven't seen a huge amount from Twist just yet. I think he's probably going to come online for this final.
This is an HLTV MVP event as well because we've got enough top 10 teams in attendance. So, yeah, that's going to be another one for Twist if he can step it up.
Yeah, well, we do have the interview on the stage with Gob B, so take it away.
It took us 3 maps, but we finally have a third-placed finalist here at Supernova Malta. It is BIG taking down Hellraisers, and with me is team captain Gob B. Now, it is a bit of a bittersweet result because it is a third-place decider match after all, but how's the team feeling after that one?
We really wanted to win this game. We said to ourselves it's going to be a really good practice again for Pro League, and let's play with high tension because, yeah, it's a third place decider match, which normally no one likes to play. But we said to ourselves, let's play with high energy one more time and go with a good motivated mood into Pro League, and that's what we did, and that's why we won today, because we were really motivated.
Now I want to ask you about yesterday's game against Liquid, because you even tweeted out it was an incredibly fun match for you to play. So could you talk about that game a little bit?
Yeah, the game yesterday was very close. I think also like Overpass was really close. Yeah, it was a really good series. It was really fun to play. It was really high tension. Like it was like solving a riddle. Sometimes we didn't know what to do. They played some stuff what haven't hit us yet. So yeah, the demo we watched back the game, and it was like very cool to see what they did and what kind of idea they had. Like we learned a lot from the series, and I hope that will help us in Pro League. And yeah, the game was just close for us. They are the better team for sure, but I think it was a close game. We could have won, but yeah, I think and cross fingers for them to win the final. So yeah.
Right. So this event is over for you, but could you tell me a little bit about what's coming up for you next?
Yeah, upcoming next is Pro League for sure. After that, finally vacation, and yeah, after that the preparation for the major, and then the new season starts.
Right, now there are a lot of big fans in the crowd and watching on the stream as well, so would you like to say anything to them?
Yeah, thank you guys for coming all. Thank you.
Right, that's BIG taking down Hellraisers and finishing Supernova Malta in third place. Let's throw it over to our analysts and hear their thoughts.
You can't help but love God B. Passionate and always honest in it, even saying that he loved that game, guys, that they played against Team Liquid yesterday. Because this is a man that just lives, breathes, and is everything to do with Counter-Strike, right? I remember playing against him, like God, well, you'll know as well, man, 10, 15 years ago now. We're sat in the Old Boys Club, and yet he's still there, rocking it in a third place decider match. He's still there, making it to grand finals, and he still has the exact same dedication of how he approaches the game, how he wants things to work here. And that's another reason why Big have these successful runs at times.
Well, obviously, I mean, Gobi's been doing it for so many years now, and I think you pinpointed that he has that way of thinking. He has a deep understanding of the game. And that is very impressive, considering he's done it on different versions of the game and over past periods, and the meta has shifted in between. But he's always been there. He's always been on the map of CS. Now he has a good squad with him, talented players. It seems to me like there is a good atmosphere in the team in general. They look like a good group of people that get, they get well together. We talked about how Tapson is loyal to them. They have that kind of links. And I could see from them the bounce back that I was hoping to see, right?
Yes,
we talked about after the second map, they need to bounce back. They cannot just spire down. Start of Overpass, 5-0 at Hellraisers, and it's starting to be, like it's shaking.
Scary,
what is
right?
happening? But then they come back. They fight. They have a good finish of the first half, and suddenly they are in control.
That's something that comes with experience, right? The ability to look at any situation and think we can still come back into this. And it certainly helps if the man that's leading you is leading the charge, something we talked about with the likes of Angel. But it was Gabi here. He finished on, I think, over 180 or Tabson, much the same. But he was the one that was doing most of the heavy lifting, which is surprising considering how much he has to juggle in his head in that matchup. But yeah, like I said, it really helps your momentum moving forward if the guy that's telling you we can still do this is really showing it on the scoreboard.
And that's one of the things, right, is Godby's not just the in-game leader, but he's like kind of the final piece to that puzzle of getting Big success all together. But Hellraisers, right, this is at least a positive sign with a new player being brought in. This has, like Chad and Sadakis were saying there, right, this has turned into a situation where this is exactly as we expected it to go almost, right? We predicted very first day that we'd see NRG and Liquid in the grand finals. We knew Big, Hellraisers, Tyloo had the chances in there, given the rest of the state of the other teams. But it was Big and Hellraisers who have made it competitive, who have made it work out there. And I don't think there was ever a point, at least from against Hellraisers, where you'd go, there's no chance they could have won this. And hence why we end up on this 2-1 scoreline. Yeah, definitely a good event, I would say, for Hellraisers. I wouldn't go deeper than that. I think that would be a little bit too much. At times, it felt like Hellraisers were exactly in the situation that they are, which is a new lineup, which has still some things to figure out, some plans to deepen. And, they fell a little bit short against Big. The fact of the matter is, when you're up 5-0 as T on Overpass, you should have a good half, right? But Big started to win some rounds, suddenly the money isn't so good, and that's when, the cracks start to show. So nothing alarming for Hellraisers. I think they're going to use that event as a, good, good grounds to work on and good resources to work on. So overall, good events. Just leave it at that.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think in general, though, this event, just due to the kind of skill disparity towards who did finish 7th, 8th, 6th, 5th, everybody was kind of slotted into their own little tiers, right? We figured out more or less that this is how things would unfold, and most teams performed as expected in the grand scheme of things. But if you look at it a little closer, the likes of Hellraisers bringing Big to this close scoreboard, you had Tyloo upsetting Big in the early stages and making themselves look very good, and Big look a little shaky. They then came on to recover when we moved over to the best of threes, as generally does happen. I think the real question mark, right, that throughout this whole tournament, from the start, we said, you know, Energy and Liquid are going to be that's the big question mark. That's the one that's really hard to predict, because so often we see these matchups go back and forth. One week they play and it's a 2-0, the next it's going the opposite way.
Well, it kind of went in a way where I'd say that, like, Train was very decisive from Big, Inferno incredibly decisive from Hellraisers, and not the Big that we would have expected to see, right? But then Overpass fell into that middle ground where it was definitely a 50-50 on what way it could go. But when you've got literally all the pieces, and this time around, it wasn't Nex that needed to stand up, right? He just played his role, he did well, there's nothing bad to point out from him, but he wasn't required, right? And that was a good sign that Big could still get it done without him kind of just topping the scoreboard.
Exactly. I was going to say, weirdly enough, it's a good thing for Big that Nex was actually not online at all on this last map, but they still managed to pull the win. You know, it's very important not to depend on one player too much.
Exactly.
I've had that kind of problem in my career. Back in time when Kenyas was the best player in the world, and we were having some trouble playing Counter-Strike. But yeah, I still do not know what to make of that Inferno game, right? To me, it's still an enigma. I think it was the scenario where Hellraisers played really well, all the pieces fell together, and then Big were a little bit too slow to react. Maybe they thought they had won the game already. You know, it happens. You win the first map, going to the second one. It's the third place match. Maybe they don't have the same kind of determination and focus. So in that sense, Inferno was a surprise, but overall, the result makes sense. We could see Big winning this. They have been together for a longer time. Individually speaking, they were kind of on fire in the tournament, you know, making life really hard for Liquid. So in the end, the result, that makes sense, I think.
Yeah, and that's what it's come down to, right? Big make it happen. Big make it happen to a third place decider as well. And okay, a lot of times we don't get to see third place deciders, but that was actually a good set of games to watch, right? That wasn't something in CS where we just go, oh, okay, one of them's not trying. Both teams were fully going for it at different times across it.
Sure, there's 10K on the line, right? You either get 5 or 15, so it's definitely worth going for. And like I said, Hellraisers have a lot to gain if they won that game. And even by making it close, you know, that last map they did win both pistol rounds, but what we didn't see them do, which I thought was kind of interesting, was going up for the really hefty investments, like saving over a little bit of money because they respect Big, right? They're aware that no round is going to be an easy walkover, even if they have just got the pistols and the armor. It's still going to be a difficult task. And so they were, you got to give credit to them in the sense that it wasn't just they got a couple rounds because, so you look at Inferno, right? They were very in their face of Big. They were going hard, they were going fast. This time they were playing a little bit more calculated Counter-Strikes. Unfortunately, this time it went over to Big. And like we said, it is really nice to see that they don't have to rely on Nex. Gobby stepping it up at times, even though he's got to do the heavy lifting on the intellectual part of the team, he can do it physically as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking about you know, you mentioned it was an important game. Would you look at the camp from Big side? That was not a game that they wanted to lose. Definitely not. There was energy, they were hyped, and you could see Kakafu when they were winning rounds, he was like, yeah, come on, and shaking everyone and giving high fives left and right. So they looked definitely like invested in the game, and it feels always great, you know, because third place game is always a little bit of a, you don't know what to expect from it. But in that scenario, definitely people wanted to win that.
Now that's one of the things as well, right, when it comes to this is literally we're just before we go into Pro League. So the teams that are here that are attending Pro League, like Big, for example, this is a confidence boost ahead of something like that, sets you into a nice stead and go, hey, look, we've got some additional practice in a very serious environment, practice we can rely on kind of what the results we come off the back of it and how we take this going forward into Denmark. And there you go, you have it on your screen there. Big, they hit third place, and now we're on to the big game. And it's not the team this time around. It's going to be NRG going up against Liquid. And it's a rematch. It's a rivalry. And it is something that, you know, I don't even need to start analyzing it just yet, but I'm I don't even know where it's going to go. It's one that is going to be completely nuts, and it's the final we deserve, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking, I don't know if you guys do that, but in Switzerland, before Christmas, we have this calendar, and every day before the 25th, like we open it. It's like there's a little chocolate behind it. Calendrier de l'Avent, exactly. And I just feel like this is about like the grand finals. Like we've been opening days and days, and now this is Christmas. That's the game. That's the gift we've been waiting for. NRG versus Liquid is the big final that we were hoping for, and now we get to see it. Or I mean, soon.
Very soon. But before that, we're going to go to a quick break. So thank you very much, guys. Save your thoughts. We'll hold that hype. We'll hold that energy. And what we'll now be doing is just taking this quick break. But when you come back, you know what time it is. It's NRG versus Liquid. It's North Americans in the finals. And one of these teams is going to walk away with the first place. And this game, I honestly cannot wait for it to start, because this is the one which is the ultimate question. Who is going to take it this time around? Will it be revenge from NRG, or will Liquid just come out and dominate once again? You'll be finding out very soon, so do not go anywhere.